Hey all, welcome to yet another map tier list video with you boys. I have not done, you may remember, if you're a real one, that I did an Overwatch 2 map ranking all the way back in like season 5, I think. No, maybe it was 3. I think it was season 3. It was a long time ago. And since then, not only have we had more maps, more map reworks, but also Kevin is here and he's more experienced now.
I have
He is
I have played so much more fucking Overwatch since, so here we are.
He's now qualified to talk about these things.
I may not have this
Congratulations.
Indeed. I may not have the same level of map autism that this motherfucker does, but I do have autism.
Yes. And that's really what's most important here.
Indeed.
Anyway, if you've seen any one of our map ranking videos before, you'll know our 5 categories: Primo Kino, Destination, Doobie Vibin' with, Acceptable Area, Sketchy Neighborhoody, and Travel Not Advised.
Indeed. Now, that being said, Overwatch is certainly better than average in
Yeah.
terms of map quality.
Yes, I would definitely, compared to most games, I would argue they're generally pretty solid at map design. So a lot of this is going to be a bit more niche and subjective than other map rankings might be, where it might be a little bit more biased towards our aesthetic preferences or what heroes we play and what they're good on, you know, stuff like that. It's going to be a little bit more subjective based on personal taste and how we personally like playing on them, more necessarily than objective, more objective quality.
Yeah.
That's a gradient, but because unlike something like Halo Infinite, where there definitely are bad maps,
Yep.
Overwatch is a generally a higher bar in that regard.
Yeah, this is gonna go a lot more on vibes than anything else, so...
Yes, we're using for simplicity's sake, we're using the same icons I use for my Spotify playlists. If you didn't know, I have fucking, I think they're all public. I have musical playlists I use for every map in the game that I just swap between. With exception to some of the arena maps where I just use the ones where they share aesthetics with. But like, I made icons for them anyway, so we can rank them all here. This is the cleanest aesthetic to me. This is what I had at hand. Otherwise, I would have had to grab more icons, and oh boy.
Oh boy,
So
that would
without
be a mess.
Yeah, but you might notice here we're doing everything. Uh, all the maps in the game, all the arcade ones. So this is going to be very, very complete.
Indeed, this is the complete, overarching Overwatch map tier list.
Yes, because I ain't no comp tryhard. I play the whole game. The whole game.
The whole game. The whole play.
I ate the whole plate. That's how you know I'm not guilty.
She did it!
Yeah. So, without further ado, let's begin. I guess we'll just do them as they come. I think this is alphabetical order. Antarctic Peninsula, the full control map. What are your thoughts on Antarctic Peninsula?
I really like Antarctic Peninsula, actually.
Yes, I also really quite enjoy it.
Honestly, it's kind of a personal favorite for me, because, like, I really love the, like, Antarctic South Pole aesthetic.
Yes.
And you can see it in the thumbnail here. The frickin' Aurora Borealis in the sky is just such a great touch. But also...
Yeah, the original night lighting is definitely the best, yes.
Yeah. But also, it has really nicely designed points that have plenty of flank routes and...
Yes, they're quite distinctive not only from each other, but also some of the most unique control points in the game.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. No,
Yeah.
I love this one, actually. It's...
What would you say your favorite sub point is?
Oh, God. My favorite sub point would probably... which ones are there? What are the names again? I forget the sub point names.
Sublevels, labs, and icebreaker, which is the ship.
My personal favorite would probably be... Probably labs.
Labs is really balanced, and I especially like that the point is a low ground,
Yeah.
which is always fun.
Yes. I love like going down in there. That's such a nice...
Yeah.
Like...
Labs, Labs is also the one I would definitely make a CTF variant if they were interested in
That
doing
would
that
be-
anymore.
Labs would be such a good CTF like thing that would be so
Yeah.
perfect with.
Also gives
Yeah,
Labs also gives you the best view of the Aurora Borealis, which is
it
nice.
does. It does. Like when I
Oh,
think and
actually, wait. Sorry. This is the southern hemisphere. It's actually the Aurora Australialis.
okay,
Sorry.
okay, fair enough, fair
Just
enough.
before any fucking nerds could correct us on that.
Sure, yeah. No,
The Aurora, whatever.
yeah. No, I fucking love that map, and when I think of Antarctic Peninsula, I think of Labs first. Um,
Yes, I think I might have a slight preference. I think I might have a slight preference for Icebreaker, but like it's only very slight. And it's just it might just be due to the appeal of the uniqueness of the ship itself.
yeah,
Um,
no, that's fair.
but I like them all though.
Yeah,
Um,
I would. I think we're pretty good in putting this in Primo Kino right now. Yeah.
yes, as far as especially as control maps go, this is definitely in the upper echelon
Yep.
for me.
Starting off strong.
Yes. Original Temple of Anubis.
Oh God. Okay,
This was the first map they ever made, and boy, does it feel like it.
2CP baby.
Yeah, don't expect the assault maps to rank super highly for us.
Yeah, so like I have played a fair amount of 2CP in arcade, so but the problem is I only know 2CP in the form it exists in Overwatch 2, not necessarily how it exists in Overwatch, but we are ranking it based on Overwatch 2 here. So
yes, that is true, which means they're going to rank lower.
yeah, believe it or not, it got worse when the switch to 5v5 happened. Now it did get better later with like the tank buffs and like all the healing passes and shit, but it is definitely a different experience from Overwatch 1, as is my understanding.
Yes.
But even then, as far as 2CP maps go, this is such an uneven map in terms of design.
It's uneven, and it's simple to a fault and very restrictive, even compared to other assault maps. It's very restrictive in its design, probably because it was again the first one they ever made.
Something that
Which
happens.
is not.
Sorry, something that tends to happen in a lot of 2CP maps, and we'll see this consistently, is that there's one point that is extremely easy to just bowl over defense on, and there's also a point that is extremely easy to lock down to a fault. And this has one of the worst examples.
Yeah, that was kind of by design, but that design doesn't really work as much in Overwatch 2, and there's just less people to hold points.
Yeah.
And also less people to take points. And originally, competitively, this was played where you'd switch sides, and it was more about getting the most caps within your time bank. Whereas in the quick play settings that we play in now, it's just about getting to the end. It's not a very satisfying game mode for that reason.
Yeah. We have had
matches are either complete fucking 2-minute steamrolls or bashing your head against a wall for 8.5 minutes.
Yep. Yeah, and
it's very rare you get a decent assault match that feels actually relatively even. And Temple of Anubis is definitely one of the worst for that.
And I will say, even more so than some of the other 2CP maps, probably the worst in this example is Temple of Anubis, is very little of the map in the first half actually gets use.
Yes. Before the choke, forget about it. Nothing about that matters.
Pretty much, yeah.
Even some of the stuff surrounding. There's some geometry and some pathways, particularly around the back end of First Point, and also there's an interior passageway in the middle between A and B that rarely ever see any use because they're just so out of the way and irrelevant.
Yeah.
I think it was the first map they ever made for the game. It is iconic, but I think it sucks.
Yeah, I'd say travel not advised. Agreed.
Yeah.
Again, we're having to grade on a curve here because of Overwatch's general like better quality than most other games, but even by that standard, Temple of Anubis is real rough.
Yeah. Next up is Ayutthaya. You may know it from CTF, and it's also in Elimination, weirdly. Probably because it has spawn rooms.
Yeah. Yeah, Ayutthaya is...
I will never understand... Sorry, I have to soapbox for a second here. I will never understand why they took Ayutthaya out of Team Deathmatch because it's quote-unquote too big but then they put it in 5v5 elimination and even 3v3 elimination. What the fuck?
Yeah,
I get that like the other I get that like the other small arena maps, it has spawn rooms, so it can technically work for elimination. Why is it too big for TDM, but somehow fine for elimination? It's
Right,
so
yeah, I don't
slow
get
in
it.
elimination because it's big.
I
What the
don't
fuck?
get it. Yeah. Also,
But anyway, go on.
I will say, this is where the fern is.
That is true. I'm glad you remember where the fern is. Real ones know.
Yep, fern's here. Fern. Anyway.
Yes, Ayutthaya is the only map they ever made specifically for CTF, and it is by far the best of them.
Ayutthaya is actually a lot of fun. This is probably the most fun you will have playing CTF in Overwatch.
Yes. No, I like the other variants.
Oh, yes.
Control sub maps for CTF. Don't get me wrong. Very clever reusage. I wish we had more of them usage, but that's fine. But the one map they specifically made for CTF, they really knocked it out of the park. It is great for capture the flag, unsurprisingly.
Yeah, no, there's a ton of like flag routes. It's big, it's open.
It's very pretty. Both the halves are distinct. Both halves have very nice aesthetics. They're very distinct. Really, it's Thai as fuck. And I think it's a shame more people don't play CTF. I think it's a shame this isn't in fucking deathmatch.
Genuinely,
because it's
genuinely
it's a great map, and I wish people got to. Yeah, it's a great map, and I wish people got to play on it more.
Yeah, no, I honestly really like Ayutthaya. I think its specialization kind of knocks it a little bit low, ever so slightly. I would put.
You grading on a curve here, boy?
I'm gonna put it in Doobie Vibin' with. It is a really fantastic map for its one game mode, but that does limit it.
2 game modes.
2 game modes.
2 game mode. It's not as good for the second one, but it's there.
That is true. That is true. But like, I do be vibing with it though. It's good.
You know what? It's time for bribery.
Bribery? Oh, truly?
Yeah. Okay, so I would have put this in Primo Kino, but I'll put this here. But Blizzard, I'm just saying, if you add this back to Team Deathmatch, maybe I could bump it up a
That's
slot.
true. That's true. That's true.
That's right. Now we got leverage.
Yep.
We let it be known the Gaijin boys accept bribes. Yeah, that's fine. Although I don't love your reasoning though, just because I feel like it is what the map is for. Like it excels at what it does.
That is true. Yeah. No. You make a good point. You make a good point. You make a good point because like we have like okay, you know what? You make a good point because we do have fucking Clash maps coming in and it's fucking Clash. That's all they do. So.
Yeah, no, that was my thing. Is like when we get further into this, are we going to rank arena maps as lower just because they're arena maps?
That's a good point. All right,
fair.
all right. Push it up. All right.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
But if you add it back to TDM, maybe we'll create a 6th highest tier for Ayutthaya specifically.
Yeah. Ayutthaya tier. There we go.
So get back to us on that one.
Yeah.
Anyway, Black Forest, the arena map.
This is one of my favorite team deathmatch maps. I fucking love this for TDM.
It's fun. It's very distinctive visually. It was technically the first Overcast map, if you think about it.
It is. Yes.
Yes, I love Black Forest so much. That's my boy.
Beautiful aesthetics too.
Yeah.
But again, that's something you could say a lot. Again, and like Blizzard knocks it out of the park with aesthetics pretty consistently, but
yeah, and fun too. It's also the most by sheer happenstance. It's also probably the most natural of the maps in terms of just being in dense nature.
That is true. It looks the most like a place. It looks the most like a place that could exist in real life. So.
Yeah, crashed Omnic vessels aside.
Yeah.
No, but it's fun. It's great for elimination. It's great for team deathmatch. I especially like in elimination the wraparound effect because both spawn rooms are technically adjacent to each other, and you wrap around the middle, which is unique among those. Usually they're just diametrically opposed to each other, but here they kind of have a wraparound effect, which is really unique.
Yeah.
And it changes your approach in elimination specifically. Yes, I'm going to talk about elimination because unlike you, I actually play it.
Okay, fair enough.
But even Team Deathmatch, it works great. But it was originally made for elimination, and it is probably one of the better ones for that. But aesthetically, gameplay-wise, yeah, Black Forest, king shit.
Yep, absolutely.
Blizzard World. This one on concept alone.
Dude, this is the most Blizzard map to ever Blizzard map.
Well, yeah, obviously.
Yeah.
There was like controversy in the streets when this was unveiled, and I was like, "What? You people are so unfun. This is amazing."
Dude, like there is no map in this game that has more like just God. It's like you're basically just killing people at Disney World. It's awesome. Like
Yeah, no, yeah. Like if we're gonna have a theme park map, why not? Why not Blizzard? Why
Yeah.
not themselves? Why not celebrate themselves a little bit? You know? No, dude, it's so fucking. There are some nitty gritties I'm gonna get into, but like in terms of the overall like just concept and execution of the map, it's fucking fantastic going through their entire history that way. They're three biggest iconic franchises.
I will say
before Overwatch.
I will say, in terms of design though, I think this has this is hybrid if I remember correctly.
Yes.
Yeah. As a hybrid map, it has a really good capture point, and the S curve last point is really, really fun to kind of both attack and defend on.
Yeah.
The middle section is kind of fine, whatever.
I think the middle section definitely shines more in deathmatch, where it is the crop.
Yeah, it is a really good deathmatch crop, but as the initial moving
second
area,
point.
as the second point of the hybrid map, it's a little lacking in terms of design, because what ends up happening a lot of times is you'll have one really good try right in the middle to try and push through, and then you'll have one try right at the very end, literally like feet away from the beginning of third point, to try and stop the enemy team.
Yeah, it is a bit of a shame, just because the actual design of the point is very unique.
It is,
with this giant circular terrace and walkways, and such, but it doesn't always get the most use.
Yeah, the big issue I have is that it's interesting and it's fascinating and it's intricately designed, but very little of that in normal play gets used. It probably gets more play in the competitive settings, but we're not competitive players, so
Sure.
We're going off of just kind of semi-casual quick play thing. So
just pubs.
Yeah.
Pubs. Yeah, I do agree. It tends to go by a little fast. I also think the initial before first point, that choke is probably the hardest choke in the game right now.
It is. It definitely is. Yeah.
I think it could probably use another flank right on the other side or something. But yeah, so I think those are mostly our points of frustration with it. I still absolutely love it, but I do think if we're grading on a curve, there's just enough here to put it in vibing with.
Yeah.
Because there's just enough slight frustrations with how quickly second point is kind of blown over, and the harsh choke of first point.
Yeah, and the fun parts of this map are really goddamn fun.
It's fun. It's fun. I just had an idea just now. No other map does this, and I'm not saying they should do this, but think about for a second, because the middle of the map is basically a big circular terrace. What if you had to push the payload cart around the circle back a loop and then go forward? What do you think about that?
That is an interesting idea.
If the track wrapped around the terrace and then you had to push it back through, that'd be interesting.
Admittedly, no other map really does that, so that would be
That would make a longer second point, but that's also kind of our complaint, is that it's too short.
Yeah, it's way too. It's just kind of like a bear curve going into third point. So no, I think that might actually that's an interesting idea.
Yeah, you have to just wacky shit with payload tracks like that. Why not us?
Yeah, just do fucking weird shit. Fuck it.
Anyway, Busan.
It's good.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, no. Now this is a perfectly solid match. Sorry, map. Why do I keep doing that, mind you? Even in casual conversation, I keep getting the words map and match mixed up. I don't know why.
Yeah. No, Busan is great. I love I love the shrine area, especially I love its fall aesthetic, which was a nice distinctive touch.
Shrine is also the crop that they use for CTF, which is really good.
Yes, that's also a really good CTF variant.
Yeah.
They also use downtown for CTF, which is fun.
Yeah.
Downtown is one interesting design choice on Busan is each submap only has a single mega health pack.
Yeah.
Which is interesting to say the least. It certainly focuses, but I think it kind of focuses design on the point super hard.
Yeah.
Compared to other control maps or fights kind of break out in other areas, take over resources.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it naturally draws the player to the point itself, which honestly I think is fine. I think that's fine.
It's certainly distinctive, but sometimes I kind of wish there was another mega in some other place so that people would actually have like even the one mega that does exist on Shrine, for example, by the coast, people don't even go for that a lot of the time.
It's too far out of the way. That's the big issue. Because like even if you're playing like a flanking, or spy hero like Tracer or Sombra or something, you're not gonna go out that far usually. So
yeah, although it is a good route for CTF, but
yeah.
Maybe if you're wrecking ball,
that is true. I will say for CTF that is a very useful area. Again, just because it's so far out of the way.
It's actually why I really want more CTF crops, because they bring out the best of these control maps.
They kind of do. They kind of do, really.
Yeah. But anyway, as far as Busan is concerned, I really like it. Mecha Base certainly also plays quite differently than most other control submaps. That said, different isn't always better. Like it is a little, for a point so unique, it kind of comes across as bland sometimes. I don't know quite why though.
Yeah.
Just aesthetically and some of the holds that happen there. I like Busan a lot, but I feel like there's some design decisions that make it a little bit, just a tiny bit more bland than it could be, I feel.
Yeah.
Like it's lacking a little bit of spice in some places, but I do be vibing with it.
Yeah, no, it's good. I like it. Do be vibing with. Yep.
Yeah, and again, grading in the group.
Yeah.
Castillo,
God. I forget
the arena map.
Okay, right.
Yeah,
that big fucking circle. Yeah.
Yeah. The circle of death.
Yes. This is a really, really interesting TDM match, actually.
This is very tight.
God damn it. I did it again! Motherfucker, I did it again! Anyway, map.
Yeah, fights here are very tight. Even by small arena map standards, they're very brawly and tight.
Yes, which makes this kind of an ideal map for very, like, hit scanner brawler type heroes. I love playing this map as Junkrat so much.
Yeah. Well, because you have very easy access to the high ground, and the high ground is relatively valuable.
Yes.
So, yeah. Also, all of the arena maps have cliffs, but this is the most accessible cliff, and it's because there's a mega out there. It's the one that people fight over the most. So there's a lot of cliff play going on with environmental eliminations, which is fun.
Yeah, which again, like it offers boop opportunities for like Lucio and Brigitte and shit. So.
Yeah. Big fun.
Oh yeah, this is just a super creative and very like entertaining to play on TDM map.
Yeah. Primokino!
Yeah, Primokino. It's up there. Yep.
Castille Girard. Oh no, it's not Castille. Chateau Girard.
Yep, Chateau Girard.
This is their first deathmatch map, and again, I think they fucking nailed it.
Yeah, there are two different types of this is our first map for this game mode type maps. There are the ones where it's like you can tell it's their first map, or the one where it's just like they understood the assignment. This has understood the assignment to the highest degree.
What's really fun about the dedicated deathmatch maps is that we actually get to draw upon our fucking Halo knowledge or whatever.
Yes.
Because these are much more traditional arenas in the style of something like Halo or Unreal or Quake or whatever.
So it's interesting that this is coming directly after the previous one, because the previous map is smaller and more focused and has more focus on just like immediate verticality and
Yes.
power and like
It's interesting because when they first did arcade specific maps, they were focused on arena maps, as in like literal arenas, because
yes.
deathmatch did not exist yet. They were only focused on elimination and some other things like limited duel 1v1s and shit like that. Whereas later they did when deathmatch came out, they did deathmatch maps, which were much more traditional Quake sort of fare. Um, Made for both FFA and TDM specifically, although other modes do exist on them. So we have a when you play like TDM, you have an interesting mix of these older elimination focused
Yes.
arena maps and these new, well, it's hard to call them newer at this point, they're quite old, but newer-ish deathmatch maps made specifically for deathmatch in like traditional FPS, means. It's interesting you get that mix there.
Yeah. One thing that I love about this particular map is just the way that it's designed, because like it's a big fucking map. As a arena map, it's actually pretty big, but it does a really good job of funneling players to each other
Yes.
in natural ways.
Yes, that the flow of Chateau is impeccable.
Oh yes, absolutely.
And it reminds me of a lot of the better Infinite maps that we ranked, like stuff like Prism,
Yes.
where like the interweaving flow just kind of works.
Yeah, no, it definitely has that going for it. And another thing that really works in Chateau Guillard's
Favor.
favor, yeah, is it is extremely flexible as being useful for so many different heroes, because
Yes.
there are areas that are particularly useful for different types of heroes. Like there are some really good sightlines for snipers, but there are also some really cool, more tightly woven areas for more
Like hard defense. Hard defense. You can set up like a Torb nest.
yeah, you can set up a Torb nest, or you can trap people with Junkrat and then just lob bombs at them.
Symmetra is super annoying in the
Oh
basement.
god, dude, Symmetra is a beast in the basement. You can set up a Symmetra nest and just kill people as they come in.
That is quite the sentence. Symmetra is a beast in the basement. Yeah, and also because it's like an island, it's an island. There's lots of coastal boop opportunities for like Pharas are super annoying on this sometimes.
Oh yeah, but it's so well designed, and there are so many ways of like kind of moving in and out of these various areas that there's not one area that feels like a singular stronghold.
Yeah,
that's just impossible to penetrate or anything like that.
Yeah, like, I don't think there's any area where fights just like concentrate. It just happens all over the map.
Yeah, which that just kind of shows how beautifully designed this map is.
Yeah, I also appreciate it because, and this is something I really liked about deathmatch maps, when they used to make them, is it took a relatively like small location, just a single manor, and made it the whole map, and I miss when we could do things like that.
Yeah.
Anyway, Primicano.
Agreed.
Circuit Royale.
Post rework.
Yes, we're judging these post rework. Although in some cases they may or may not actually shift in position, just because we only have 5 categories. But like, yeah, we're judging on the rework, which is a little bit.
So I will say the rework for this one, comparative to the other reworks that we had this season, this is definitely a bit more on the subtle end of the rework spectrum.
Yes.
The flow is very similar comparative to what it was like before. It's more so it's just kind of been refined a little bit.
Yeah. Yes. I think the most important things are that there is a flank route coming out of spawn now, effectively, to retreat into. There is a flank route around the bend on second.
It makes the map a bit less choky than it used to be.
A little less linear, and they pushed back the hill a bit to make. It's definitely a subtle touch of very appreciated things. I'm not sure as of yet how much it really moves the needle in terms of its overall placement.
Yeah.
but it is good. But it definitely is it is still kind of a linear payload map in that it's very tight and focused, and you fight on the road. The road is the place to be. You know, I still think Third Point has a lot of geometry that goes underutilized. The pool area. Put a fucking health pack by the pool area. I swear. Give us a reason to go that far.
Give us a reason to go there, please, God. No one uses it.
They added more pool area. Well, no one but Widow.
Yeah. Widowmaker players are the only fucking people who use the damn pool area.
I do like. I like trying to utilize it, but a lot of the time, because, especially since they made the window even bigger, you know, you just get shot down. I don't know. Like, you can do stuff with it. You can like Junkrat far up there.
Yeah.
You know, there's options, but I just wish there was a little extra incentive to actually utilize that space and actually have fights sprawl out that far.
Yeah, it's a fine map. It is definitely not one that I hate playing on. It never has been, but the problem is there's not really any part of this map where I'm like, oh fuck yeah, I love playing here. It's more so just, yeah, no, I have a good time here. It's fine. Good. It's fine.
I feel like aesthetically, it takes place in Monte Carlo. I feel like it's a little wasted. Like, why is the casino just the attacker spawn?
Yes, I agree.
Yeah, and then I feel like that should have been more of a focal point.
Yeah, because that feels like a.
I want to fight in a casino, damn it.
Yeah. Let us fight more in a casino. Yeah, I think this is probably going to be our first acceptable area choice here, because it's fine, but nothing really excels about the map. It's just we like it.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
It feels like a little bit of a wasted opportunity in some areas, and
both in design
even
and
with
visuals.
Yeah, even with the work, there's just the fucking the flank under second. Who uses that? It's like occasionally an escape.
I keep forgetting that area exists.
Yeah. It's a neat idea, but like it's so narrow and choky. Like it's used mostly as an escape.
Yeah.
And not even a super effective one, because one rocket down there just killed you.
Pretty much.
You know, so it's a bit too risky for what it is. I don't know. Like there's some unevenness in the design, and I feel like aesthetically the map doesn't quite go beyond in the way that I would like. But yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
Colosseo also post rework from season 11.
They removed the glass.
I can see clearly now. The glass is gone.
No, honestly, just by removing the glass and reworking that central area really improved the flow of this map, I think.
I hate to admit it, but he might have had a point.
He was kind of right. Spilo was right.
Yeah. I do like the opening up of it. Colosseo is kind of as the push maps go, kind of a mosh pit of a map.
Yeah.
A little bit less so now that the hallway of death isn't so enclosed, but still, you know, especially because of the loop around of the bridges that it has, it's a bit the entire map is a bit scrunched compared to other push maps, so it definitely concentrates fighting a little bit more. But like it's a little try-hardy in that way, but it is fun, especially when teams are tightly matched.
No, yeah.
Although I will say though, when the teams are not matched, you definitely feel the stomps here the hardest.
Yeah. I will. Yeah, that's an interesting part about this map is that like when things feel at their best in Overwatch, this is a really fun, very competitive feeling map, and you're going to have some wild fights all throughout the entire like run of the map. But when one team is significantly weaker than the other, when there is a clear weak point on another team, the stomps can definitely be felt.
It's also I feel I feel like this map in particular is the reason in quick play they dropped it down to 8 minutes, because I feel like one of the problems Colosseo had is that one team could be absolutely stomping, but that last point was just so hard. The last cap was just so hard to push that a lot
Yeah.
of times it was very clear who the fuck was winning, but it would just take them the whole match to win.
Yeah. Yeah. It,
Um,
it became a war of attrition.
yeah.
And that's not the most fun in a lot of ways. So, like,
I disagree. I disagree with them chopping those 2 minutes off, but I kind of understand why they do it. Even though I think it's not a push problem, it's a Coliseum problem.
yeah, it's
And I think the
definitely the
rework
issue with
actually helped. I think the rework actually helped with that a bit, by adding that other flank route into Final Point and some other
Yes, I will
minor
say.
things.
Yes, I will say. The rework definitely made it so that it, like, if you were on the back foot, it is easier to regain ground. You know,
Yeah.
you push the enemy team away from your endpoint and to kind of like gain ground on their end. But
Yes, I like how they made the mega pack areas around the bends
Yes.
by the bridges less claustrophobic, and also there's a connecting passage to back point as well.
Yes.
So, yeah, that all flows a lot better.
I don't know. I think it still shakes out to be a pretty good map.
Yes,
Um,
I'd be vibing with
I've
it.
been vibing. Yep. Yeah, it's good. It's good. It would probably be an acceptable area prior to rework, but the rework definitely did improve it quite a bit.
Yes.
So yeah, do be vibing.
Dorado.
AKA where Juno landed.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, her pod's just there and spawn now. Hello.
Yes. Dorado is. Dorado probably had one of the more extensive reworks of the ones we just received. They made High Ground on second significantly less exclusive. There's a very exclusive club of heroes that can actually utilize it before.
I fucking love that. I fucking love that tweet you made, which was my joke originally of this is the happiest any fat man has ever been to see stairs.
Yeah. Yeah. The big problem a lot of people had with
love you,
this
Flats.
map, prior was that the High Ground on second was very exclusive. You had only a select few heroes were like really allowed to easily access it.
Yeah.
And they've made it way more egalitarian, both at the stairs that connect to the high ground as well as to the church, and back around. And they lowered it on the bridge area, leading into the checkpoint.
Yes.
Maybe they lowered it a bit too much because you can contest the payload from on top of it, but they'll probably fix that eventually.
Yeah.
And the changes to first were also appreciated. The lift is nice. Getting rid of yellow roof is nice. Both the cellar flank and the wraparound coastal flank were made simplified, which I appreciate.
Yeah, I will say it's a little weird seeing a Hollywood lift on a map other than Hollywood, but
Sure.
but it works. It works really well.
Yeah.
Not post rework. It's definitely significantly better, and it was never a bad map to start with, but
Yeah.
it's more so just there are a lot of appreciable changes in map flow and allowing better high ground usage and less abusable angles.
Yes.
No, yeah.
That said,
That said,
I still think second is kind of a bloated point between the main path and the high ground and the church and the area behind the church and the courtyard. There's just a lot there, and not all of it really gets to shine.
Yeah, at the very least, it doesn't get to shine.
It's fine. Yeah, it's fine in deathmatch.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. Now, that being said, the deathmatch crop, which is just second point, is really good.
yes,
that's a really good deathmatch crop. It's just that in the regular control setting, it doesn't seem nearly
escort.
as right. Yeah, in the regular escort setting, it doesn't really get a whole lot of use.
Yeah. Also, probably my biggest problem with Dorado is that third point is fine, but it's just kind of boring.
A little bit.
The
bit.
Lumerico, the launch payload maps had a bit of a problem of just ending in a generic facility, and the Lumerico facility is just kind of boring.
Yeah.
So that is something I kind of hold against, is that it kind of these launch maps have the problem of abandoning the theme 2/3 through and just being in a facility. And this one I feel is the worst case of that. Um, that drags it down for me a little bit. It is still I do be vibing with it, but there's some things that hold it back.
I agree.
It's not one of my favorites.
Yeah, I'd say in terms of doobie vibing with, it's kind of in the middle of that category, not really particularly strong. It keeps it well out of Primo Kino Destination, but it's good enough to be well out of acceptable area. Yeah.
Eco Point Antarctica.
Hey, remember that thing where I said I really like the ice aesthetic? Yeah, that goes for here too.
Oh yeah, no, it looks so cool.
Yeah.
So cool.
So cool.
Yeah, this was the original arena map. This was the first one. And again, I think they just kind of nailed it.
It's really good. It's really fucking good.
I love fighting here. I love fighting here, Charlie. I want to fight in Antarctica.
No, it's just a really fucking fun map. And it's incredibly well designed. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, very little else that needs to be said. There's very few flaws here, Primo Kino.
Yeah, it works for duels, it works for TDM, it works for elimination. It's great.
Yeah.
Eichenwald.
Hybrid.
Yes.
First
of all, aesthetically, extremely distinct in this lineup.
Oh, yes. No, this is German as fuck.
Yes, the German castle town was a fantastic early decision they made. This was the first post-release map, tying into the last Bastion short. No, it's fantastic. It really shows how diverse these maps can be. Gameplay wise, I also really like. The funny thing is, take everything I just said about how wide and varied Dorado Second is, and how a lot of it doesn't get used. Somehow it works here.
Yeah, somehow it works here because everything kind of gets like it kind of has similarities to the way that Chateau Girard has, where every part of the map kind of has shit going on.
It's amazing how there's like Second is so wide, and yet some fights do turn into just stay on the road, but like a lot of times they don't.
Yeah,
it's interesting.
Yeah, like it has. I think what helps is that it has really accessible. It has really accessible flank routes that flow extremely well in and out of the main road.
Yeah.
And they have really good vantage points that are nonetheless also effective to fight against. Like, yeah, Widowmaker is strong in this map, but she's not overpoweringly strong. You can still flank behind her. You can still knock her down. You still have good enough sightlines to where you can just pick a hit scan hero and just shoot her from a distance. The main road is a really good, just, tank holdout spot. But there's just so much going on with this particular map, especially on Second Point. And the third point, while kind of choky, is also so fun. So fun.
It might be one of my favorite final payload pushes in any of these maps.
It just feels so good to play on that third point. Because...
Yeah.
It is probably the biggest. It is. So, this is something we brought up as a negative on fucking Paris 2CP last time, which we'll get into again.
Yeah.
But we brought it up as a negative to where it's like you can really tell who the weaker team is based on like how it goes.
Yeah.
But like it feels good on this map because it feels fair. It feels fair,
Yes.
And there's plenty of opportunity. There's plenty of, again, flank routes and plenty of vantage point to where one team can kind of, like, it's just really well done.
I love Eichenwald.
Eichenwald's one of my, it's probably one of my like top 5 maps in this game. Eichenwald's really, really good.
Yeah, it nails the theme. It's fun to play on. Also works really well in deathmatch. So yeah, there's little to complain about here.
And coincidentally, the German map is also one of the most fun places to play the German tank. So
yeah, they made sure to nail that aspect definitely.
Yeah, this is one of Reinhardt's. This is one of the best Rhein maps.
Yeah. Esperanza.
Yep.
Look, it's good. It's solid. I will say though, Uh, I am begging for a new time of day on this map.
Yes. Yeah. The biggest thing holding this back is just it's fucking daytime all the time. Too much sun. Give you
Yeah.
some fucking overcast clouds. Make
think
it rain. Turn it
I think-
nighttime. God fucking damn you.
Yeah, I think this is begging for a night or an overcast map or something. Um, but here's the thing. Esperanza is very fun, very well designed. I think it's actually probably one of the more fair and balanced push maps. But I will say, I think I have a subjective knack against it, which is that it was yet another old European city after a lot of old European cities.
Yes. Aesthetically speaking, it has way too many similarities to other maps, and honestly, in terms of its aesthetics, I think there are other maps that do what this map does a bit better. In fact, we've talked about a couple
It's good.
already.
Yes, yes, it's good. It's good, but it's a little derivative, just a little bit.
It is a little bit derivative. It is still very fun to play on. I've had plenty of great matches here.
Oh yeah.
And
I just need a fucking new coat of paint to really like fucking freshen this up a bit.
yes.
Which feels like it feels like a nitpick when you're ranking video game maps, in that regard, but like again, these are really good maps. Like even the worst maps on this list are better than a lot of other games.
Yes.
And we're grading on a curve, and a lot of it is going to come down to subjectivity because that just makes it more interesting,
Yeah.
Because if you want my objective opinion, yeah, all the maps are fine, whatever, but that's boring. That's not a video. So we're going to get a little bit more into the subjective here. And this is definitely one of my more subjective takes, which is that Esperanza is very good. God, I just wish it had a new coat of paint.
Yeah. It's kind of. I'm not gonna say I'm fatigued on it, but every time I'm here, I'm just like.
Well, here we are
again.
It's always such a pleasure.
No, it's good. It is.
I vibe with it.
I vibe with it.
It's good.
Yeah.
Hanoka, baby!
Ah, yes, Hanoka, one of the 2 Clash maps that we currently have.
Yes.
This is the
God,
better
it's
one.
so good to be back in Japan.
I fucking love Hanoka. This is a
I love Hanoka so much.
map. Holy shit, they knocked it out of the park here.
Yes, not only did they revitalize Hanamura's aesthetic, I think they did it a little better, actually.
They did. No, dude, this map is absolutely fucking beautiful, like start to finish. I love the center point being just like this wooden dojo area coming out of these.
It's a great homage to the original Shimada Castle. Yes.
Coming out of these like lush, like sakura tree laden, like garden areas. God, it just flows so beautifully.
Yeah, you get one thing I love is that unlike Hanamura, the problem with the Hanamura I always had is that all 3 of its like zones are really cool, but because it's assault, you just kind of just go through it, you just barrel through them.
Yes.
Whereas in Clash, it's all one big fucking multi-stage area. You go back and forth between constantly, which really benefits the appeal of each specific area because you get the very modernized urban Tokyo vibe from the far ends, and then you go into these Torii Gate fucking garden areas, and then into the dojo itself. The castle or whatever, and like you get to experience all of it in the single match, and you keep going back and forth, and they blend together. It's great.
It's almost like as you're playing the match, there's like a story being told with the map itself, which is just
a little bit.
God, that's brilliant.
I think aesthetically, that's kind of what I would like from Clash maps going forward. Is this kind of blending of aesthetics seamlessly like that?
Yes, absolutely. And also, in terms of just like release synergy. This came out, I believe, around the same time like Juno came out, and this is one of the best maps to show off Juno's strengths as a support.
Yeah, I agree.
I adore playing Juno. I adore playing Juno on Hanaoka in particular. She's so fun.
Yeah. I love the flanks. I love the central point is expansive and really has a lot of entry points and a lot of places fights could sprawl to. B and D are a bit they are defender oriented to a point, but not like oppressively so. And they have a unique geometry to them. I love the transition from BD to AE. Particularly the giant side pillars, those hallways are really
Yes,
fun.
yes, love that.
The this wide defender area. Um, no, it's great. I love that. There's a Japanese map in core rotation again, and I think they just nailed it out of the park. It has very unique geometry. The aesthetics blend together well. I think this is definitely the better half of Clash at the moment. And for
Agreed.
me, it is an easy primo kino. I love
Again,
playing here.
again, much like Eichenwald, this is like probably in my top 5 maps in the game. It's
Yeah.
that good.
And if they added a night variant, oh baby.
Oh, that'd be gorgeous. God.
Oh,
Wow.
boy.
Oh, do it. Oh, do it with the all the lanterns lit up, allowing for like some
Mhm.
fucking night lighting. Oh my god,
Yeah.
yes.
One of these days. One of these days. Anyway, Havana also got reworked.
You left
Although,
your heart
like,
here.
I did. If anyone sees my heart, please contact me. I'm currently very low on the waiting list for a donor.
Yeah.
Anyway, Havana, they changed it recently for the better. Again,
Yes.
like what was the other one we were talking about? Like Circuit, it's kind of deft, subtle changes, but they're good subtle changes. Closing that damn window on first point makes a huge difference.
Yes, closing the window
lowering-
and also adding the banner to kind of block a sight
Yes.
line was a great subtle
It's still-
change.
Yes, Havana is still a sniper map, but it's not as oppressively a sniper map anymore.
Yes,
Which is good.
the biggest problem really was first point being oppressively defensible, and
Third point as well to an extent.
yeah, the reworks definitely
Yeah.
help with that.
Yeah,
And
they also lowered that balcony around the bend so that it's more accessible to more heroes, which is good. I like playing high ground
Yes.
on that. That's not just a widow.
yeah,
Um, The changes to the distillery were a bit more subtle. They made some doors wider. They added a second door on the a third door on the side, and changed some of the geometry towards the back to accommodate the multiple spawn exits on third attacker. But it's mostly the same, and I've always liked that distillery area. It's just fun to fight in.
dude, the distillery area is like one of my favorite like second points in the game. It's just there's just so
Yeah.
much happening there. Yeah.
I agree. Third point has been made a bit more approachable. They made the flank route around the castle or around the fortress more accessible. They gave a third attacker a little bit more room to work with in front of it. It is still sniper central. They still have the perch there. There's still a long distance that they can snipe you from, but
Mhm.
it's more manageable.
Yeah. No, this is great.
Honestly, I think my one complaint with that is that I think the payload path is actually a little bit too short for how intricate the fortress is. So sometimes a lot of that doesn't really get utilized as well as it should have. But it's a little bit of a nitpick.
Yeah, it's kind of it's kind of a minor point when the rest of the map is honestly pretty damn strong now.
Yeah, honestly, I think this might be one of the more improved ones. Before, I would have. Honestly, there was a point in my life where, especially in Overwatch 1, where I would have put this in Sketchy Neighborhood. But I think over the years, as changes have been made, Widow has like a harsh fall off now at a certain point, like 50 meters
Yeah.
or whatever. They've made various map alterations to make this flow a little bit better. I think it's bumped. Do I vibe with it? Do I vibe with it?
I vibe with it.
All right. I think it's bumped up that high. I would say that.
Yeah, it really is. Honestly, I think what really pushes it into do be vibing with are the changes, because they are subtle and they are surgical, but they're so
Yeah.
targeted that they do significantly improve the general experience of the map and the flow of it. So
I do really like that. I do really love that second point too. I love this story.
again, like the distillery is just such a great part of that map. Like that's
Yeah.
kind of the centerpiece, literally. So yeah, no, I vibe with it. Yeah.
Hollywood.
One of my favorite aesthetics is Hollywood. Actually, I love the visuals.
Oh,
of this map.
you SoCal boy.
I grew up. I freaking lived in SoCal for a very large portion of my life. I'm a little partial, so
I don't have that experience. I don't know if that's your experience.
fair enough. No, I really like how each individual point has a very clear aesthetic to it. We have like the city-based first point, very like Western town themed second point, and then the third point being like a freaking film studio. That's really cool. That's really cool.
It is cool. I've always felt like they didn't push it as far as they could have.
I suppose so. I suppose so.
I think, yeah, I think part of the issue with making it, like, they made it recognizable and kind of stock, but I think that makes it, lacks it a little bit of personality. And because it goes through so many, I don't know, I guess other maps do this, but like, I don't know. I never loved the vibes on this map. I always feel like it's a little stock, and they kind of, it's kind of flat. The cool things are kind of flash in the pan. You know, like the film studio, like it's one set of a big alien in like a UFO, and then like the rest of it is just stock facility again. It's just a bunch of scaffolding and boxes.
That is fair.
Um,
That is fair. Like now, to be fair, that entire like scaffolding and boxes area is supposed to be the backstage area. You know, where
I
all
get
the
that, but
freaking,
like
yeah,
these maps
yeah,
are not like it's not such a long path that you really get to soak in any one part of it for that long before you're on to the next thing.
yeah.
Um, I also, especially early days where we didn't have as many maps, the fact that the middle section of this map is like a western focused town, and then we also have Route 66, felt kind of weird.
That is that. Yeah, it's. I guess. I guess.
Especially back in the day when we only had like 3 or 4 fucking payload maps. You
Mhm.
know, it was like western town and other western town, and I like the Route 66 one a lot better. So
That is fair. I do think. I do think in terms of a consistent and focused aesthetic, Route 66 is probably better.
we'll get to that. We'll get to that. The one thing I'll say in Hollywood's defense is that there are certain heroes I really like playing here, especially more defensive-oriented supports. I really like playing Lifeweaver or Iliadi here.
Yeah.
So there are definitely some hero picks of mine that shine on this map. But overall, it's always just kind of been acceptable to me, and I think a lot of that has to do with the theme. I don't love the pastiche nature of the theme, and I think even design wise, it's just kind of fine. I never get like excited to play on Hollywood. It's just kind of okay.
Yeah,
This
yeah.
is Overwatch, so for me, this is an acceptable area.
All right. Okay.
Though I will say the night lighting is an improvement.
Hmm.
But damn, is the sky really that purple in California?
It can be. It depends on how close you are to the city because the freaking like skylights can light
The
up
light pollution.
the light pollution. Yeah.
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 All right. Horizon Lunar Colony.
Ah, yet another 2CP map. This is a fascinating 2CP map actually. Because
Now, if I was judging Horizon 1.0,
yeah.
but this is 2.0, which is the only one we've done for a very long time.
Yeah. Was it that bad originally? Really?
Yes, it was one of the first maps they actually had to rework because it was so bad.
Oh god.
Yeah, it might have been like the first map rework actually, at least on that scale. I think so. It was also one of the. It was actually was it? I think it was removed from competitive before Paris even, which is shocking.
Ooh. That's
I don't.
quite
I'd
a
have to check.
bit.
I'd have to check the timeline, but yeah. But Horizon 2.0 is significantly better, but it's still Assault. And all the same problems of Assault still shine. Where
Yeah.
you know, fucking, it's either rolling over or bashing your head against the wall. There's so much unutilized space. Everything before the choke, and there's a lot of geometry before the first choke point, but like it just does not get used at all.
That is the that is the thing that I have the most issue with because like as far as 2CP goes, this isn't necessarily a bad map to play on. Like I've had good games here, but like
The mode just dooms it.
the mode dooms it, and there's just so little used space. Honestly.
Yeah. Once you get to the second half, it's better about that, but the first half is just such a waste. Everything before the choke is wasted. The lunar surface path is literally, it's a completely redundant adjacent flank route next to an already perfectly good flank route, and the only reason you ever go out there is because it's a mega pack.
Yeah.
So even the signature focus of the low gravity is not even a factor because it's so shunted off to the side.
Yeah. I will say, like, it is a...
And aesthetically, there were some areas I really like, but a lot of it is very sterile and just white science-y, which is fine, but I feel like they could have done a little bit more to make it more distinctive, and it was actually worse originally. Like all the plants and shit that exist on the way to Second Point didn't even exist in the original version.
Ooh.
They added that to give it a little bit more the hydroponics. They added that to give it a little more personality. Which thanks. It's still a little lacking.
Yeah.
But it is better.
Yeah, I will say, we certainly have more good to say about this compared to Temple of Anubis.
Yes, but I'm putting it in sketchy neighborhood.
Yeah. That's what I was gonna say.
It's the mode. It's the mode.
It's
the mode is just bad.
That's what I was gonna say. Like, yeah, it's good and it's better enough to push it into a tier above fucking Temple of Anubis, but it's still not the best because it's fucking 2CP in its current form, which is
not great. Yeah. So again, though. One day they might make a fucking pseudo Clash remake of this, and then we'll be singing its praises because there's a lot of potential in this setting, and in this aesthetic that I feel is yet to be realized. I feel like I feel like a good Clash remake of this could be fucking one of the best glow ups, at least conceptually.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But as of now, you're just a sketchy neighborhood.
Mm-hmm. On the moon.
Yeah. Grab your friends, grab your guns, get your ass to the moon. Ilios.
Ilios.
Oh, Ilios.
Oh, Ilios. Ilios is where I draw the line. No.
Ilios is fine, but I am extremely fatigued on Ilios. It's been here from the beginning. It's never gone away, and I think especially Ilios Ruins. Ilios Ruins is the fucking two-fort of this game. Let's meet up and you and he fight. We'll meet up in the shallow pit and just have a big fight.
Yeah, Ilios Ruins does have that bit of that kind of an issue, and also the fucking what's the one with the giant hole?
Well.
Yeah, the fucking well is just God.
Now here's the thing, I've wrapped around to ironically loving the well, because I'm just like, oh yeah, time to go Lucio, Roadhog, whatever, just poop everyone in the fucking well.
Yeah, admittedly.
I'm not gonna act like it doesn't get cheesy sometimes, but
it's cheesy.
God, give me some life on this sterile fucking map I've known forever.
Fair enough. But like, this is a goofy ass map.
That thing, and I'm not saying I relate to this. Obviously, I love the childhood friends trope, but that thing in like movies and stuff where like the hot girl next door that the main character can't see as hot because they've known them since they were 4 years old or whatever, and they just look homely to them even though they're not.
Yeah.
It's like that. That's Ilios to me. It's like the childhood friend who isn't bad looking or anything, but like you're so used to looking at that it's not like exotic. There's not like an appeal there.
Yeah.
Even I'm not saying that's me, but I understand the feeling when I play on Ilios.
Even this map, even like the Ilios Ruins crop for like CTF it's fine, but like even for CTF,
it's probably my least favorite of the CTF variants.
Yeah, that's kind of the issue. Like, God.
Yeah. Acceptable area. It's fine.
I feel
this is stock Overwatch.
Yeah, this is the most Overwatch. Like, just fucking yeah. If you think an Overwatch map, this is the map that comes to your mind. This is what an Overwatch map and what a match on an Overwatch map will look like to you. Anyway.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. Yeah, like, and it's crazy. It's happened twice now. And that's true, and I'm going to tell you why that's true. When Fortnite added mapping tools, what did everyone pour into it? Ilios. When Deadlock opened its mapping tools, what did everyone port to it? Ilios.
Guarantee you somebody's already made Ilios in Halo.
Wouldn't shock me. Yeah, but like it's like for me, it's kind of the effect of Fireflies by Owl City. It's a good song, but God, it's not his only song. Jesus Christ!
You would not believe your eyes.
Yeah. It's like as a Owl City sufferer. I don't like to say fan anymore. As an Owl City sufferer, like he had Fireflies is great, but he had so many better songs, and I feel that way about Ilios. But it's like, yeah, it's good, but like, holy shit, there are so many better maps.
Yeah. No, I agree. I agree.
Junkertown.
Have yourself a time. This had a rework a few seasons ago.
Season 9. Yeah, that tightened up the coastal area mainly and added that building there. Good changes.
Yeah, very good change. Changes. Very good change. I've always thought this is actually a pretty fun map.
It's fun.
Yeah, no, it's really damn solid.
I think I have some. I like first point and I like third point. Second point is kind of bland looking.
Yeah, again, the second point has an issue that honestly this crops up with a lot of second points in like in both hybrid and escort. Second point oftentimes has an issue where you will have one heavily defensible area where if you push through that, the rest of it is just a cakewalk, and that absolutely happens at the first turn of second point here on Junkertown.
The only turn of second point.
Yeah, that turn on second point.
It's just a big U-turn. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, you basically just like put a fucking Rhine there with a bastion behind him. It's just like try and get past this, and that's all it is.
Oh, this was the map for the old pirate ship strategy of like Arisa barrier, Rhine shield, bastion.
Yeah. And you can definitely still feel that in the current meta.
Yeah, not as strongly. But
it's not as strong. Like you can still, there's shit you can work around here.
But every
like,
now and again, we're just like yar har,
fiddle-dee,
time to run the pirate ship, run them over. Yar! We'd be conquering Australia!
Said no.
Well, geez, the way I said that made it sound a lot more fun than it is.
Yeah, why would you do that, dick? No,
Anyway.
this is fine. It's
good.
It's good. Yeah,
it's good. It has the classic problem of second point being kind of bland, and it just a lot of times just you either get stomped, you either get stonewalled there, or you just roll over it. Also, it's a little. They've done a lot to address it, but God, first point getting sniped all the time kind of sucks.
It does. It does.
First point feels like a skill check. Feels like the better team just wins.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much.
Even though I do really like that area, but it is kind of stompy in that sort of the better team just wins.
Yeah, I think it evens out to being a fine map, but there's definitely a lot of issues with it. I'd say it's like it is in. I'd say it's like top of acceptable area.
Yeah, around where Circuit is. If we're, again, grading on a bell curve, all these maps are beautiful.
Yeah, no. Again, I rarely have an outright bad time in Junkertown, but at the same time, it's very rare where I'm just like, oh, fuck yeah, I'm having such a great fucking time on this goddamn map because of the map itself,
Yeah, yeah.
I will say, I do really like that turn on third point.
It is fun. The big turbine is fun.
Yeah, the turbine's fun. It has like that really cool like low ground flank route. It's really fun.
Yeah, it's fun.
And it also has like a really good upper areas for flyers. So yeah,
that is true. That's true.
Yeah.
I like the routes.
Honestly, it's very rare that you find a map that really like works for flyers that well. So that's actually a really cool. Okay.
I'm not moving in.
Okay.
You can't convince me.
All right. Fair enough.
If Circuit's an acceptable area, so is Junkertown.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
It's a bell curve.
Yeah.
Well, maybe not.
Yeah.
And at Kanazaka.
Oh.
Yep.
Yeah.
No argument.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Put it back in team deathmatch, you fucking cowards.
The only place you can play this now is in the fucking waiting rooms. Why?
Or if you just do dedicated FFA matches.
Yeah.
Which is fine.
Put it back in team deathmatch.
No, please put it in team deathmatch. I'm fucking begging you. It's so it is fun. I do. I love the layout. I love the look. Fucking, I love it. I love it so much. Please put it in modes I want to play more than FFA. I love it. I like FFA, but sometimes FFA just kicks my ass. I'm just like, fuck it. I just want to. I want to play Kiriko on her own home stage, in a role that she's actually built for. God, please.
Yeah.
Please fucking
Yeah.
Please. So, frustrating. It's frustrating because I love this map and I barely get to play it outside of While You Wait or going to FFA. Kings Row.
British.
Now if Ilios is the classic I'm tired of, Kings Row is the classic that still hits. You know,
yeah.
King's Row is admitting to yourself, you know what? Charizard is still kind of cool.
Yeah. No, King's Row, even as like a honestly a relatively new player, King's Row is really, really fun to play on. Yeah.
Yes, it accommodates a wide variety of playstyles. It utilizes its space really well. It flows nicely.
This is one of, like I mentioned that there are maps that suffer a problem of having like, you know, one defensible point and the rest of the second point is just kind of a breeze. This doesn't have that issue at all. Like
no, second point's awesome.
Second point in here is so fucking fun.
It's also fun in deathmatch, just as a note.
Oh, dude, this is one of my favorite deathmatch crops, honestly.
Yeah.
Again, real fun to play Junkrat. So,
yeah.
I have done so much silly shit with Junkrat on this map, you have no idea.
Yeah. And then the final Underworld section. Yeah, the final Underworld section does fall into my criteria of launch maps leading into a facility, but it is definitely a more distinct one.
Yeah,
I'll give it that much.
Yeah, like as far as like those facilities go, I actually really like the very heavily industrial look to it, because like a lot of those other a lot of the other facilities we have in the game look,
they're bland. They're bland looking.
They're like scientific like lab studies and shit like that. Like no, this is industry.
Yeah.
And it looks really cool. They're such great fucking flank routes. The sight lines are really good but not oppressive.
Yeah.
Honestly, attacker spawn has a great fucking Widow vantage point.
Yeah, like it's annoying, but it's not like oppressive.
Yeah, because like you still have that choke with like the walls where you can kind of just like
changes how you have to position, but like
yes.
You still have options.
Yeah, it's not overpowering. This is such a fucking fantastic map. No, Primakino, great, I love it.
Yep,
love it a lot.
Lijiang Tower.
No, the funny thing about Lijiang Tower is I mostly associate this as being my favorite place to play prop.
Yeah. Yeah. Lijiang Tower, again, a launch map. It's good. I feel like there are some areas where I feel like its aesthetic is not pushed enough. Like it blows my mind that there's a submap called Night Market, but all the Night Market stuff is right in front of spawn, and then the actual area you fight doesn't look like that at all.
Yeah, it's just it's just China, the map.
Yeah. And then fucking Control Center plays more into the Lucheng like space agency theme, which is not very Chinese at all. Although I do like that one makes it the most apparent. One thing I do like about Control Center though is that it makes it most obvious that you are fighting on a giant tower, which I do like.
Yes.
Particularly when you're around the edges, I do really like that. But the actual interior of the map, although I do like its design, it is a little bland. It's facility-ish. It's facility adjacent. Yeah. It has vibes of facility. Gardens is amazing. I love Gardens.
Oh yeah,
both for CTF and for Control. Gardens is carrying this map. It is definitely my favorite point.
Yeah, whenever I think of fucking Lijiang Tower, I do think of that. Like that is like the thing that I think of immediately, because it's the most fun point to play.
Yes.
Again, very flanky.
The other ones are just kind of fine.
Yeah.
And again, it's a launch control map, so I am a little fatigued on it. So kind of like Ilios, I think I'm going to put this high in acceptable area.
Yeah, I agree.
It's fine. It's fine. It's kind of stock. It's a fun place to play Overwatch. If I don't feel like it doesn't hype me at the beginning of a session. It doesn't close out a good session at the end. It's just kind of like while we're doing match after match, it's just one of the areas that pops up, and I'm like, okay, time for some acceptable Overwatch.
Yep. You just kind of like lock in, like, all right, let's go. All right.
Malavento.
I want to know what you think about this one first, actually.
Malavento is fun. It is a fun deathmatch map. I think it's a little bit less intricate than some of the others.
Yeah.
I don't think it has quite the exquisite flow of Chateau or Kanazaka. I think again it has the classic European city sort of problem of being a little I kind of like that. To be fair, though, as Italian representation, I actually kind of like Malavento a little bit more
Yeah.
than Rialto, because it has a very Malavento has that very specific South Italy feel to it, with the it has a classic vineyard feel to it.
Yeah.
It is funny, not funny. It is fun. I like the tower with the jump pad. I like the other end of the jump pad. Both jump pads are key. These are great jump pads. But I do think it's a little bit lacking in flow.
Yeah.
The fights do tend to kind of congregate in certain areas.
The fights mostly tend to congregate in the like various like inside areas. I don't feel like the road that we're actually showing here in the thumbnail actually gets too much use.
The area behind it does, around the statue.
Yeah, around the statue gets plenty of use, but like...
I would say a lot of fights tend to congregate either in the church, in front of the church, or to the side of the church here.
Yes.
Everywhere else on the map is just where you spawn to get back to those places.
Yeah, like the flow of the map is very focused on the church itself. A lot of the other stuff is kind of coincidental.
I wish the church was slightly bigger.
Yeah,
slightly.
Yeah, it's a little claustrophobic. Yeah. I think it shakes out to still be a fine like deathmatch map.
I vibe with it, but it's not as strong as the other ones.
Yes, agreed.
Again, rating on the curve.
Yep.
Midtown.
I hear it slaps.
Midtown slaps.
Midtown slaps.
I love Midtown, Charlie. I love Midtown. No, fucking dude, fucking aesthetically, I love this. As far as modernizing a setting for Overwatch's universe, I fucking love what they did here with New York. I love the fucking neo Art Deco design elements they use. The sort of that they kept all the brickwork and like Bronxianness of it,
and it's just kind of like built on top of and built into like the futuristic elements are just kind of like incorporated into the setting.
It's also one of my favorite things in maps like these is the sense of scale. And this map is immaculate because you are just surrounded by much taller buildings, and there's like fucking flying lanes of traffic overhead, like it's like it's fucking Fifth Element.
This has one of the most amazing skylines of any Overwatch map. It's so good.
The sense of scale here is immaculate. You are in the heart of a dense urban jungle, and you can just like a lot, especially since a lot of Overwatch maps have this problem of just being like built on a cliff somewhere, and so it feels very like coastal and like sort of like on the edge of something. But here you definitely feel like in the middle of something, which I appreciate.
This feels like an urban area that was cleared out because shit's happening. So like which just this is a really fucking good map.
Yes, it's really fucking good.
And
God, I wish the first point was a death match. I really want this so much.
One of the most amazing things about this map is how there's no wasted space. Every single part of this map has a utility dependent on like what your team comp is and who you're.
There's definitely some areas that get a little bit less focused. There's some flanks on first point that again I really wish the first point was a deathmatch map because it'd be so good. Yeah, but some of those flanks go a little unutilized, but they definitely have purpose. You can use them, which a lot of people don't. Yeah,
I mean I've used them to like effect on multiple occasions, but like it's definitely situational. But like even then, they're fun to use.
Yeah, you always have options, which is good. I love first and second point. Third point is just good. It's good. I wish there was a little bit more visually going on in the station. It's a little bland.
A little bit. But I don't think that's enough to push this down into anything less than Primo Kino. This is really good.
No, it's fantastic. I love fighting at Midtown.
Yeah.
Necropolis.
What is your opinion on Necropolis?
Necropolis. Hold on 1 second. Let me just observe something real quick. Okay, I think this is the last of the original arena maps. Yeah, I think it's the weakest of those four, but not by a lot. It has interesting. It has interesting geometry. It is so weird to me that one of the things they hyped up with this map originally was that there's a pit in the middle you can fall into. But it compared to like the Petra pit or like
Yeah.
the Ilios pit, it is such a nothing burger pit.
Yeah. I will say.
I guess they didn't want to make it too oppressive, but like,
So I will say one of the things that stands out about this map in particular is that it's really good. It is really really good for long range heroes, and it's really really
Yes.
good for short range heroes. It's kind of either
mid
or
range
for
though.
mid range.
Yeah, I kind of agree.
Like this is an amazing map for like Ashe, Junkrat, Widowmaker, fucking like. But
Yeah,
like,
it's yeah. Torbjorn.
Torbjorn, yeah. But like you go to any like mid-range hero and like unless you're heavily flanking behind cover, you're kind of struggling a little bit. So
that's an interesting point.
Yeah.
Interesting point. It certainly gives it a different flavor.
It does. It does.
Yeah.
The question is, does that specialization help or hinder it?
I think it's a lateral thing.
Yeah.
But I will say, hold on. Am I crazy? Am I forgetting something here?
Are you forgetting something?
Hold on. Because okay, we got Black Forest, and Eco Point Antarctica, Acropolis. What the fuck was the fourth one? Oh, Castillo.
Yeah, Castillo.
Yeah, I think sorry, all three up there. Yeah, I think this is definitely like
it's good.
It's good, but these are good. You know, like
yeah.
I think if I'm being honest with myself, I think it'd probably be an acceptable area.
I would agree. Yeah. Again, never a bad match, but never a match where I'm like.
I think it's the one
I think
it's the one I'm like the least excited to play on when
yes.
I QTDM or whatever.
Yes.
Yeah, that works.
Yep.
Again, we gotta use these tiers somehow.
Yeah.
Nepal.
It's good.
Nepal is good.
Yeah,
it's good.
Yeah,
It's really
no,
good.
this is a really solid map.
Nepal. I think it should. So this was one of the 3 launch control maps along with Lijiang and Ilios, and I think this is the one I am the least sick of.
No, yeah, the various points are really, really fun.
Yes.
And they still feel fresh, and I think it just helps that this is one of those maps where like the vastness of the hero roster can really change how a particular match
I was
feels.
gonna say I was gonna say like the other day I was playing Ana on this map. You were there. And I was like, damn, I really like Ana on Nepal. And that was just one of the, I don't play a ton of Ana, but I played, you know, I have some experience. I don't play a ton of Ana, but I was just having the moment where like I was really appreciating Nepal because I was playing Ana on it. And it was like one of those discoveries I'm still having like 8 years later.
Yeah.
Says a lot, you know. Yeah, Sanctum, Village, and Shrine are all fun in different ways. They'll still look amazing. They'll still feel really good to play. There's a variety of playstyles that work on them. I don't think it pushes the bounds into being one of my favorites, but I do be vibing with it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I will say Shrine is one of my favorite places to play Sigma as a tank. I love playing Sigma on that point.
The only thing I miss about that is that Shrine used to be in CTF and they took it out, and I actually think it really benefited that map because of its like side routes that you don't use a whole lot in the core game. So if you could reconsider that decision, that'd be great.
Yeah,
but other than that, I like it.
Yeah, it is one of those maps that is the flow of it is dictated by the heroes, not the map itself, which is actually a big benefit for this map.
Yes. Yeah, like something like Sanctum feels a lot different depending on what you're playing.
Oh, absolutely.
Yep. New Junk City.
This is a Flashpoint map, and this is my favorite Flashpoint map.
Oh, really?
Yes. No, I actually love playing on New Junk City. It has some of the most. What? Go ahead.
Interesting. I actually like Saravasa slightly more.
Really?
But, yeah. Why don't you tell me your reason?
I feel like this has some of the most distinct and visually interesting individual points in Flashpoint. Like each individual point looks unique, and I really love some of the points that we have here. The I really love the ducts and
Finery.
and like the ducts in the refinery are really
I think
fun.
it's half and half. I think it's half and half for me because I think arena's good, refinery's good, ducks are good. But then you get stuff like bomb flats and junk and scrapyard, where like they're just kind of okay.
That's I don't know. I feel like Scrapyard has a really that is fair. Scrapyard kind of has like one like.
There's not a whole lot of scrap in scrapyard. Have you noticed this?
It's very that's very true. It's more so just like a bunch of.
It feels like scrapyard recently cleaned out.
Yeah.
Someone came and bought all the scrap.
Yeah, yeah. No, maybe put in a little bit more. I don't know if they plan to rework this at any point. Maybe fix that a little bit. But...
I don't think it needs a rework. No, but like I'm just putting out a few missed opportunities there.
That's fair enough. But like I don't know. I really
also
like...
to be clear, I like it.
Yeah. I think between the two, I actually like the aesthetic of this more. I think it's a better like Australian themed map than Junkertown.
I think it does more with the aesthetics.
Yes,
certainly.
Yes.
To be clear, I mean it is a much bigger map, and
yeah,
it did come out a lot later.
Yeah. But also I just like the general flow of it and how it kind of funnels from one point to another, and the individual points also feel really good to play on. So.
I guess so. I kind of feel like there's more, and I'll talk about this more in the Saravasa section. I feel like there's more actual like fights that break out between points in Saravasa compared to New Junk, because in New Junk the path in New Junk City the paths are less straightforward and they tend to be a little bit more space between points, whereas in Saravasa the paths are a little bit more immediately clear and the roads are a bit thinner.
That's a fair point. That's a fair point. Yeah.
I think New Junk. I do be vibing with it. It is good.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
I don't think it's I don't think it's top tier though. I think it's just good.
Fair enough.
I think the things that hold it back for me are that the in between points there's not as much interaction or action as I would like, and I think some of the points are a little dull. Mainly Scrapyard and Bomb Flats is geometrically interesting, but I think aesthetically a little whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. The others I will agree are pretty distinctive though.
Yeah. Okay, fair enough. No.
And I'm also I know a lot of Redditors also hate Arena as the central point. I actually like Arena. Arena's good.
Oh, I fucking love Arena. Yeah. No.
Yeah.
it's
again, controversial.
It's a mosh pit and it's fucking fun. No.
Yeah. New Queen Street. I love New Queen Street.
New Queen Street is.
First of all, it's beautiful.
It's beautiful. But also
this winter, whoever fucking decided that like, oh, we're doing the Canada map, all the trees should be red. Mwah, mwah. I get because the leaf is red. I get it.
Yeah, and it just creates such great contrast with this kind of like late fall, early winter kind of like chilly aesthetic. It just. Mwah,
yeah, the snow and the red trees with the blush white sky and like reflective buildings is just beautiful. This is prettier than real life Toronto is ever going to be.
They're also just really good. Like,
I love the sheer amount. This is an urban area that actually feels dense and urban in terms of just how many. Have you ever looked at the walls and seen how many different stores there are, and just like all the different graphic design that went into that, and then there's the graffiti and shit. It feels very authentic.
Yeah, like there are so many different unique, like.
And I appreciate that it's different on each side. They didn't just mirror it. Obviously, the geometry is mirrored, but like they made different stores for each side.
Yeah.
And this is the only push map that actually changes the forward spawn depending on what side you are. You either get the egg house or the Japanese dive bar, and that's so cool. Also, the beginning spawns are also different with the curling club and the underground station.
Yes.
Which just adds more variety and spice and life and immersion to this map.
This is one of the best like asymmetrical maps in the game, and it's so
no, it's symmetrical.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
I think you mean visually asymmetrical.
Visually
in
asymmetrical.
its symmetry.
Yes, that's what I mean. Yeah,
that kind of balance between visual asymmetry and geometrical symmetry.
Yeah, no, it's a fantastic fucking map, and
I like how it's like focused and like around these roads, but like it's also somewhat open. You go through them and around them. Again, before her untimely demise, I really loved playing Sombra here. This is like my favorite Sombra map.
This was a perfect Sombra 4.0 map. Just mwah. What did they do to you, girl? Jeez.
I miss her. Sometimes I still think about her. You know?
Sometimes I still feel like she's there in the match with us, constantly dying, but somehow still in the match with us.
Yeah. Sometimes I feel like I can still hear her little voice. Peace.
Peace.
Yeah. Anyway, there's other heroes I really like here. I love playing Sojourn here. I love playing Venture here. Like this is my DPS go wild map.
Oh, abso-fucking. Anytime I get DPS in this map, I'm like, let's go.
Space to work with, interesting geometry, off angles. Let's go.
Oh fuck yeah!
No, it's fucking amazing. It's Prima Keto. I love it so much.
Absolutely.
It's my
Again,
favorite push map.
Again, this is another one of those maps that is entirely.
Also, another case of it was the first push map they made, and they fucking nailed it.
They nailed it. What the fuck, dude? And some people hate push.
Crazy.
Y'all are stupid. Anyway.
Numbani.
Post rework Nimbani specifically. Now, if this were
this definitely
rework.
If it was pre-rework,
yeah.
But now that it's been revamped a bit, maybe not as heavily as I would have done it, but still definitely the most significant of the reworks of this patch.
Yeah.
First of all,
yeah, first point got Zahandoed.
Yeah, they fucking Zahanded it, they fucking Thanos snapped it. All that useless fucking space between the airport and the first point is gone or heavily condensed. It is so weird around that corner, around the bus. I just see the airport right there.
Yeah,
it's welcome, but it is weird.
Yeah, it feels more focused. There are much better flank routes. I think everything just kind of
that whole area has
better.
been cleaned up. That whole area has been cleaned up, and it's not just a giant waste of space anymore.
Mm-hmm.
The flank route was cleaned up. The high ground was made a little bit more accessible, less oppressive. The area in front
all the high areas,
spawn.
All the high areas were brought down to accommodate more heroes, which is so good.
Which is nice. First point plays a little bit more like King's Row now, and well, you see where King's Row was placed, so that's a good thing in our book. With the addition of the forward defender spawn, they made second point actually feel like a point and not just a path you go on to get to third.
Yeah, fights actually happen there now. Consistently.
Yeah, before Numbani second would just constantly get rolled over because it took the defender so fucking long to get back that like they didn't really get to contest it before they got to the checkpoint. Now they do, and that's a great change. They also added a flank route into third point.
Yeah,
it's not the most optimal flank route. It's a little
could have been better.
Contiguous. It's a little obvious, but it exists, which is.
And there is
fine, good.
And they kind of moved spawn door for final spawn as well. Yeah. Yeah. No. The reworks are really, really good.
There are still some things I would have loved to see them do. Like there's still that uselessly big staircase to get onto the. You know what I'm talking about? Out of like on second point on the road, like that big fucking like Z-shaped staircase to get up. Like. It takes so long. Why is it like that? They didn't touch that at all. I would have loved it if there was like another back route into third point from there. I don't know. Maybe that would have been too much attackers. I don't know. There's something about third point I still don't like.
Yeah, third point. I still feel third point is a bit too choky for its own good.
And the funny thing is, like, I don't know why, because I thought about this while playing on King's Row lately. I'm like. It is King's Row Underworld is not that different from Third Point Numbani, but it just feels like it for some reason. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know.
There's just something about the flow of it that just doesn't quite work.
I don't know what it is. They made it better, but there's still something about it I don't like.
Yeah.
And also, God, I wish we got a new time of day because these visuals are getting very stock. Which is crazy because it is unique. It is distinctive. This neo-African aesthetic is still really cool.
Yeah.
It needs a new coat of paint or something. I feel like it doesn't go far enough in some areas.
Yes.
So, with all that said, Is New Numbani improved? Yes,
Quite
but
significantly.
it's only an acceptable area.
Yeah, it is a really good,
it still
solid map now.
Yeah. They made it something I actively resented playing on into something I am neutral to playing on.
Yeah.
Which is still a benefit.
Yes. Net gains, net gains.
Yes. Oasis.
Good.
Oasis is it's good.
I
It's
really
good.
like
I like
it. Yeah, no.
I like it's got 3 lighting modes and they're all fucking great.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I like each individual point, city center, university, and gardens. A lot of gardens in this game.
I love playing gardens here. This is like
Yes, I like that one quite a lot.
Gardens has probably some of the tightest like some of like the tightest back and forth I have playing Control, which is definitely a positive. It's definitely a positive thing here. Like if we're grading on like just singular really good control points, that's probably one of the best control points in the game.
Yeah, and like we said about Antarctic Peninsula, one of the things I appreciate is that all the points are very distinct from each other.
Yes.
In terms of how they play, which is good. Yeah, I would say.
I do be vibing.
Yeah, I do be vibing.
It's like top of do be vibing. It's
I was gonna. These aren't really in order, but I was gonna say. Yeah, I was only really struggling with, is it Primo Kino or is it just a vibe location? I don't know if I love it enough to put it in Primo Kino, but it is still really good.
Yeah, I'd say the big benefit here is that it has 1 amazing point and 2 pretty good points. So, yeah. I think it evens out to do be vibing with.
Paraíso.
I fucking love the visuals of this map so much.
Oh, yeah. No, yeah. It pops.
This is such a colorful ass map.
Yeah, if you ever seen like actual South American favelas, it looks a lot like that.
Yeah.
No, I love it. It has a very unique second point, with all the rooftops and going uphill. First point is fun. It's kind of Kings Row-esque.
This is This has like a couple of my favorite like landmark areas in an Overwatch map, like coming out of defender spawn. Like coming out of third point, you look to the right and you see like these fucking Bochi the Rock ass looking steps.
Sure.
Yeah.
No, it is fun. Yeah, no, it's like this came paired with Overwatch 2's launch with Midtown in terms of being hybrid updates, and they're both really solid. I also love third point. The club is a fun place to fight. I like its design. I wish some of the back rooms are a little bit more utilized. Again, I would make that a deathmatch crop.
Honestly, I personally really like playing Lifeweaver on this map. It's a super fun Lifeweaver map.
Yeah, it kind of has it's like what I said about Hollywood about defensive supports being really fun.
Yes.
But more fun because it's not Hollywood, it's Paraiso.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say. Honestly, yeah,
it's in Primo Kino.
I really like it.
Yeah.
I always consider it kind of a sibling map to Midtown, and I really like it.
Yeah, they kind of go hand in hand together as kind of being these like very
newest hybrid maps. Yeah.
Newest hybrid maps, but also very urban in terms of their design.
But distinctively so.
Yes.
Like their aesthetics definitely pop out in this lineup, which I appreciate.
Yeah.
Paris.
I will say the deathmatch crop is okay.
Yes, the deathmatch crop of second point is good. It's a good deathmatch arena.
But
it's
a 2 CP map, and as 2 CP maps go,
it's the worst one, and it killed it.
It's kind of fucking shit.
I shit you not, I swear, if Paris had been better, or if Paris never existed, Assault might still be in the core game today. Yeah. Paris killed Assault.
It's
because
so
long. It exacerbated all of its problems. The space in front of it has the tightest choke in first point. The space before it is useless.
Yeah, like every fucking weakness of every other Overwatch map somehow found its way here. It's too fucking long. It takes way the fuck too long to get from one point to another. You get staggered way the fuck too easily.
The forward attacker walk back to the second point, insanity how long that is.
The chokes are fucking stupid.
It's so long.
The flight routes are worthless.
People fucking always complain. Like, I don't like the walk backs on push. I don't like the walk points on flashback. Bitch, have you played Paris? Holy shit! If I never have to fucking do the sad walk of shame from second attacker spawn to second point again, it'll be too fucking soon.
No, dude,
that is a walk of shame.
You get pushed back one time. That's it. You lose. You lose. It's.
Why is it so big?
This is okay. I know we said we're grading on a curve here. This is the only Overwatch map I would say is outright bad.
Yes. For its intended purpose. Yes, it's very pretty, but oh my god, it sucks. It sucks so bad. Why is second point so big? It's massive, and that makes it fine for deathmatch. But like, God, it's fucking huge.
Oh God.
Even with, like, this is like, remember my fucking 7v7 video where I'm like, I don't know, maybe these maps are a little bit too small for 7v7. I'm like, no, I feel like Paris Second was made for a hypothetical 7v7 version of this game that doesn't exist.
No, fucking shit, dude. Like,
it's like you have the world's most crunched first point with the world's most tightest choke, like the most clenched asshole you've ever seen in your life, and then it opens up into second point, which is basically a fucking big team map they slapped on the end of it. It sucks, and it, like, I kid you not, I think this map killed Assault.
It might have. No, dude, every single time I play on this map, it is the dumbest fucking shit. Either I'm laughing at how stupid the match is, or I'm just frustrated beyond belief because
every time we have a decent Paris match, it's a fucking miracle. We're like, what? Holy shit, a Paris match that lasted more than 4 minutes?
I remember, like,
outstanding.
I remember this one fucking time we actually had a decent Paris match, and even everybody in fucking chat was like,
What?
What?
I didn't know that was possible.
Everyone was baffled. It's like, are we having fun on Paris? I don't know.
I don't know what wrong with. I can only assume they were so in love with their art direction, which again, fantastic.
Oh yeah.
This map is a looker, but holy fuck, it's designed like shit.
And like, this is one of those things where the aesthetics cannot save it.
Yeah, it's like one of those things where, like, yeah, and again, I have a lot of fun with the deathmatch trop. But, like, in my mind, that's almost a different map.
It is.
Like,
it absolutely is a different map. It doesn't even register as being the same map because, again, that last point, so little of that gets used in 2CP.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck!
Yeah. And I almost feel bad putting it in Travel.Advise because, again, I do really appreciate it in Deathmatch. I've probably played more hours on it as a Deathmatch map than I have as its actual original intention.
I probably have the most bipolar response to Paris out of any of these fucking maps. Because, like, holy fucking shit, it's awful in 2CP, but...
Because your introduction to it was as primarily a deathmatch map. And for that purpose, it works fine, it works good.
And I love TDM.
But then you play it as it was actually designed to be played, and you're like, this is horseshit! I get, okay, look, we're trying to be fair and egalitarian here, okay? So, like, we have to judge this based on the experience of what these maps provide right now.
Yes.
So, in that regard, this kills me.
Oh, God. God.
Because I have to qualify it with the fact that 90% of the time, you're playing a perfectly acceptable deathmatch arena.
Yes. You are not playing this on 2CP 90% of the time.
In fact, if this was just a deathmatch map, it might be even up here.
Yes, but no.
But I have to remember the pain and suffering that comes with playing this map as it was designed.
Yes, yeah, and that is what kills me here. Because, like, if it were just TDM, I want it to go so much higher, but God, it's insufferable in 2CP. Ugh.
I just realized that I fucking forgot to make a Hanamura icon. And I'll tell you why that happened. Because when I made these Spotify icons, we only had we had gone through the Hanaoka Clash, but Throne of Anubis it was not yet out yet. So I had a playlist for Hanamura that I just changed into the Hanaoka one. And then when when Throne of Anubis came out, I made a new one, but I forgot to make like I preemptively made a Hanaoka playlist because I knew that was coming.
Yeah.
And I had a decent high quality image to work with, but I didn't have one for Anubis. So Anubis got both of them, and then yeah. So hold on, real quick. Okay. Sorry about that. I just had to go make a Hanamura icon real quick. I don't know if that explanation is going to be in the video or not, but here we are. Anyway, we just got done ranting about Paris.
Yeah. Yeah, we needed a little bit of a buffer moment anyway to like get over our frustration with having to put Paris in sketchy neighborhood.
Yeah. And similarly, in sketchy neighborhood, again, grading on a curve. Hanamura.
Yeah.
Very pretty, very iconic. It's still Assault.
Yep.
It's probably the best of the Assault maps.
You know, here's the thing. Like as a 2CP map.
Yeah. I
actually do have a fair amount of fun on this. And I think it's visually aesthetic. Like it's aesthetic. It's fucking thing Japan. It's pretty as shit.
Yeah.
So like,
but we have Hanaoka now.
We do have Hanaoka, and that's probably the big thing keeping it away from acceptable area is just.
I think yeah. In fact, last time I did this tier list, I'm pretty sure I put it at the bottom of acceptable area. Yeah. But again, curve.
Yep, curve, and the curve has changed, and now it has been bumped down. So.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep. Unfortunate, but that's just how it goes.
Indeed.
Thanks, Hanamura. Thanks for the memories.
Indeed.
In the arms of an angel.
Anyway.
Don't donate to that woman. She's a scam artist. That was a whole new story like 5 years ago. Look it up if you don't believe me. Fuck whoever that was.
Anyway.
Petra is fun, but it's a little sloppy.
It's a fun
sloppy
but very
fun.
Sloppy map. Yeah.
This is another one where I think they were just like they were so in love with their concept art they were like, let's do that, and
let's
then they
do
didn't think about some of
this.
They didn't think of some of the design implications.
Yeah, because
like, it's not a huge deal. It's not a huge deal, but it is a little big, and it doesn't quite flow as smoothly as like Chateau or Kanazaka.
Yeah, like when you compare it to Chateau Guillard in particular, like again, as I stated back then, it has this beautiful way of funneling players through different areas of the map and creating like effective flank routes in and out of like individual areas. Not really so much here. I would say
it manifests differently than Malevento, where Malevento fights tend to congregate in specific areas. When it comes to Petra, there is flow. People do move around, but there are just some annoyances with it, like some sniper angles or some chokes that are just too strong. You know, in some areas that just kind of get ignored a little bit.
Yeah.
So like it is good. I have a lot of fun on Petra, especially with certain heroes. The cliff area is also really underutilized. It's kind of too flat and open. You're kind of a sitting duck out there. Although admittedly when you do manage to boop someone off the cliff, it is fun.
It is very fun.
the map has verticality, but like it's super dependent on its jump pad for that, or its jump pads for that. It's two different jump pads. Like it's vertical, but not like and it is accessible, but like it's very clunkily accessible. It's like, fuck you, here's two jump pads. High ground is for everyone, but it's like that's kind of the traversal.
Yeah.
Whereas it feels like the jump pads on Chateau add to the flow of it, whereas it feels like the jump pads on Petra patch over obvious problem spots where there wouldn't have been flow otherwise. It would have been too harsh.
Yeah, I think that's a good way to put it. Like, this feels like, in terms of its flow, it's very patchwork.
A little bit.
it's very patchwork and just doesn't really like feel too natural to go like yeah. It's fine. It's fine.
It's good.
Yeah.
I vibe with it.
Yeah, I vibe
But
with
like
it.
it's
Yeah.
got
It's fun.
it's not as exquisite in its design as Chateau or Kanazaka. It's in that Malavento tier where like it's good, but I got some quibbles.
Yeah.
I got quibbles.
But also visually really nice. I like it.
Yes.
Yeah.
The practice range. Yes, I said every map.
The goddamn practice range? Really?
The practice range. How do you feel that it functions as a practice range?
I mean, I definitely use it pretty consistently to get a feel for like certain heroes, for like heroes and shit. So like as a practice range, I think it's fine. Like,
also, the update I got in season 6 is quite nice. There's different boss types now. There's a shooting gallery thing with the options and shit. That's really useful.
Yes.
Yes, they gave the practice range a necessary overhaul. They put in the thing that lets you spawn a different hero just to test like fucking damage values and make Karq's life specifically easier.
You're welcome, Karq. Anyway.
It's an iconic practice range compared to like fucking Valorant's piss ass practice range. Fuck
that's
you.
That's
you
very true. That's very true.
You know, what other game can you say the practice range is iconic?
Yeah.
Like Paladin's just I think chops off a section of a different map. Fucking Valorant's the range is just like a shooting range in the sky.
Yeah.
Whatever. Lame. This is iconic. This is immaculate. This is the practice range. Where do you go when there's a new patch? First thing, the practice range. Where do you go when you need to fucking load your shaders in because you just got a fucking driver update? The practice range.
You know what? Considering all of that,
yeah.
Primo Kino destination, honestly.
You know what? The practice range is home.
It kind of is. This is kind of home for Overwatch, yeah.
Yeah, everyone just take a moment and just appreciate the practice range.
Yes, actually.
You know what I said before about the fucking kid next door, the cute girl next door that that you're too used to looking to. That's Ilios, whatever. This is when the girl next door wins. This is the childhood friend ending. Okay.
This is
This is the childhood friend ending of maps. Okay. This is she takes her glasses off and she was actually beautiful the entire time.
Yeah, the more you think about it, yeah, she's beautiful, and you love her just the way she is. And maybe she just cleans herself up a little, but she's still the same old practice range you knew and loved the entire time.
I know. If they ever replaced the practice range, I'd be like, dude, what the fuck? Where's my practice? That's not my practice range. This is not my beautiful wife. Moment of silence for the practice range.
But not now, because we have her. And she's beautiful.
Yeah.
Primo.
We love you, girl. Rialto. Rialto is good.
It is good. It is good.
There's something about it. I don't know what it is. Is it its sharp turns? Is it its angular, harsh nature? Is it like is there just not enough options in some areas and too many in others? Fights tend to stall out at the same places.
This is one of those. This is like a rare instance where I actually think a lot of matches tend to stall out at second point. Actually,
that's second, but also like a lot of the time it's like right at the end of first, like right in that spot.
Oh god, yeah, just going right into the bridge. Yeah.
I also think last point holds are really annoying on this map.
It is obnoxious to hold last point here, I will admit.
But it's like obnoxious to hold and obnoxious to fight against the person holding it.
Yeah.
Last point is kind of obnoxious here, and I think it's because it's so heavily walled off.
Yes.
The walk back is long. It's really walled off to the point where you don't actually have a whole lot of engagement options.
Yeah. The best engagement option you have is to play Tracer, which.
It's one of those things where I like first point. I like that for I like it on defense. I don't like it on offense.
Yeah.
It's very specific. Like I like certain areas of this map really flip my enjoyment depending on whether I'm attacking or defending. It's
Yeah.
very strange.
Yeah, like it's one of those things where there are some parts of this map where I'm like, oh yeah, I fucking love playing here, and there are other points where I'm just like leaning back.
Oh, this shit again.
Oh, this fucking shit. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it
never. I flip flop rapidly between oh yeah, fuck yeah, Rialto, and then oh fuck this place.
I think just because of that, we have to split the difference between the extremes on this.
Yeah, I think it's acceptable.
I think it's acceptable area. Yeah. But it's probably the weirdest acceptable area because it's just so
yes, it's odd,
all over the place in terms of how we feel about it. Yeah,
it's hot and cold. Like this is a map of highs and lows. Interestingly,
you do not
like,
know the
like
epic
most
highs and
of
lows of Rialto in Overwatch.
It's just funny because most of the stuff in acceptable area, it's like is there because it's middling.
Yeah, it's
this
fine.
is here because it's got like high highs and low lows in the same map.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, which is so bizarre, but like it makes it the most interesting map in acceptable area. I'll say that.
That is true.
It's got that going for it.
Route 66. This received a rework in season 7, but it was kind of light.
Yeah, it's a very mild rework.
It was shit like we cleaned up the trash on the ground and we made one piece of cover slightly bigger, and now the doors open halfway after you clear the payload through it.
Yeah,
it's like that. But I will say, way back when I made my first tier list, I put this in sketchy neighborhood, but because I was just really sick of it. But like, it's kind of grown on me.
Yeah. I remember specifically there was a match we were playing where you realized at some point you actually really like this map, and like it's kind of just a comfortable place to play Overwatch.
Now there are things I really don't like about it.
Oh yeah, obviously.
I think the number one thing I don't like about it is on defense, the fact that second and third point share the same spawn.
Yes. Not
which is an old fucking thing. It works on King's Row. It clearly didn't work on New Bonnie. That's why they changed it. Here, it's kind of annoying. Yeah, and it's funny because it doesn't actually stall out second. It doesn't actually like make second normally is not like a rollover zone like some of the other ones.
Yes.
Like second actually tends to have a couple of fights here, but there's something about it sharing the same spawner that just makes it feel really annoying when you die early into second point and you have the world's longest walk back. It's kind of annoying somehow.
And I mean, admittedly, there are like fast ways of like they do have like a
There's
secondary
faster ways. Yeah. I get why it's there, but I don't like it.
Yeah,
feels weird.
It does. It is a very bizarre moment where you die at the beginning of like second point and you just get knocked all the way back to the end of the map.
Yeah. I also like second point the most.
Second point, it has so much going on.
Yeah. I like the curved walkway, elevated. I like the cover. I like these minor cliff usage, but not dominating the point. I like the wraparound. Like it's good.
Can I just say, second point Route 66 is a better version of second point Hollywood.
Yes.
Yeah.
I would say that too.
Because like it has a lot of it shares a lot of design similarities. It has a lot of the same layout.
Tighter.
It has layout similarities, but it's tighter, and there are better.
It's tighter, which works better for payload. Ironically, makes it a worse deathmatch crop, which is why they took it out.
Yeah.
But yeah. Anyway, I like it better. I like first point. It can be a little annoying sometimes. Third point is again a facility, but as far as like facility endings go, it's at least a little distinctive.
Yeah, I actually really like the openness of the facility thing because like it actually does have that large ledge up top.
Yeah, it's also a warehouse with a bunch of stuff in it, which makes it at least visually interesting. It's also the last resting place of the floating platforms.
Indeed.
That were it used to be this in Volskaya, but now in core rotation, it's just Route 66, carrying on the legacy of rotating floating platforms.
Yeah.
More video gamey bullshit, please. Which makes sense because it's a warehouse. So well, I think it's actually supposed to be like a fucking nuclear facility, but like it's got like a warehouse component.
Yeah.
Or it's hidden in there. It's a whole thing. Anyway, but I like the floating platform. maps. Is what I'm getting at.
Yeah,
I like that point. It's a little facility-ish. It kind of betrays the theme a little bit, but it's good. And you get enough of that fucking Canyon West bullshit. In the first 2 points.
And honestly, I feel like some of the like hero reworks, and especially the way that tanks operate now, definitely improves the flow of this, and it definitely feels better.
Also, it has this is, again, we're taking aesthetics into account. It has a really pretty overcast and really pretty night setting.
Yes.
So it's not just the same.
Also,
I think also the reason I ranked it so low time is because I was kind of just sick of how it looked, but now it has more variety to it.
Yeah. Where else are you gonna fight in front of a gas station?
Big girls.
Where are you gonna fight in front of big girls? Honestly, I'd say just even though you put it in sketchy neighborhood before, and the changes here have been pretty minor, I vibe with this. I actually really vibe with this. I vibe with Route 66.
Can I find it in my heart to forgive? Sure, why not?
Yeah, sure, yeah.
Sure, okay. Runasapi. The latest and greatest in push technology.
This is one of the best looking maps in the game.
It is very distinctive, yes.
I love the look of the spawn rooms. It has one of the most just expansive and beautiful looking skyboxes and just skylines that I've seen in this game.
I really want like an evening variant, but like, yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I think part of the problem is I'm just sick of daytime. I'm just sick of maps coming out of daytime by default.
Yeah. I mean, daytime is... I mean, it makes sense why daytime would be default, so, like,
I guess so, but I don't know.
Yeah. That being said...
it is fun.
Yeah.
It has a lot of the same... It has a lot of the same qualities. It is... In my mind, it's a bit closer to New Queen Street than it is close to Coliseo or Esperanza, which is a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's quite as open as New Queen Street, but it is close. And it's also very, it's a bit more crunched. It's a little tighter. You can tell they took some feedback from the first 3 push maps when they made this.
Yeah.
I wish some of the landmarks were a little bit more of a focal point. Like these big water wheels are so cool, but you almost never go that way.
Yeah, that's true.
Unless you're playing very specific flankers or something.
Yeah.
I like it. It's good.
Yeah.
It's great. I don't know if I've had the time with it to really say for sure that I love it. I guess it's ironic because I put Hanaoka Primo. No, never mind. We are for snap judgments here on the channel.
Look, man, we put practice range in Primo Kino, like...
Hey, that's not a snap judgment. I've had 8 years to fall in love
with
that
good
bitch.
point. That's a good point.
That's not... I put a ring on that. That's not a snap judgment.
Okay, fair enough.
I think maybe I'm just waiting for players to really adapt to it a bit more.
Maybe. To
really fully utilize the space. I think until then, I'm kind of vibing with it.
Well, it's like the end of Doobie vibing with. Yeah. But now... Samoa. This has... So, I love the way that this was designed, where, like, they specifically went out of their way to have different people on each point, so that, like, each point is, like, wildly different.
Each point was lead designed by different people, yes.
Which makes playing on this such an interesting experience.
It certainly is eclectic.
Yes. But...
My thing is that I like downtown, I like beach. I thought I'd love Volcano. Volcano is kind of weird.
Volcano has another... It's another one of those things where it has a lot of unused space.
That's true.
That back route... that back route right behind the fucking point rarely gets use unless you're a flanker.
I feel like in order to have fights sprawl into that back route, you gotta wear a stake around your neck and be like, oh, look over here, boys, looky.
Hey, boys.
Mm-hmm.
just pray that they're playing Reinhardt and that they come over.
You've got to bait them off of the point, because if they stay on that point is so defensible.
Yeah.
You know. like you theoretically have a lot of options, but a lot of matches just evolve into just hard lining on the point itself, which is a little boring.
Yeah,
So I think
it does become boring on Volcano. The other two are
and
great.
And it shouldn't be. It's a control point inside a volcano. It
has,
shouldn't be boring.
It has a jump pad in the middle, but like,
a lot of that just never, and a lot of that rarely comes into play though. I think Volcano really holds it back. I do like Downtown and Beach though.
Yes.
Beach especially is fun because it's a low point, which we like.
Yes.
But then it's like surrounded by interweaving ground and stuff like that. Again, like a really great CTF prof, so you get more do like, more in the rocks and the huts and stuff, but that kind of gets unutilized.
I'm shocked at how much I actually get use out of like the freaking beach area, like off to the side. That's very
nice. The beach
nice.
is also the most iconic part of it because we didn't really have a tropical map before. Now we do.
Yeah, now we do, and it's great for that.
I'd be vibing with it, but I think Volcano holds it back.
Volcano knocks it out of Primokino. Yeah.
Yeah. Shambali Monastery.
Shambali Monastery.
Oh God, I love Shambali.
Yeah.
First of all, this is one of the coolest looking maps. And it's also one of those maps that I almost can't imagine a different time of day for it because the night is so essential to its look.
Yes, no. This absolutely has that aesthetic of just going into this mysterious, like, ruined, these, like, mysterious freaking, like, ancient
This monastery,
yeah. It is a gorgeous fucking map. Yes.
The moon is gorgeous. The night lighting, the way the night lighting specifically interacts with these like reddish, dark brown,
Okay. I want to point out something very specific about this map. Like, obviously, first and third point are amazing. Like very well designed. Very like they're great. Second point is so interestingly. Second point. It should have a lot of the same issues we have with those hard turn second points. It should have the same problem of there just being like one defensible point that if you push through that, it's a clean breakthrough.
Yeah.
But it doesn't.
Somehow. It feels flexible somehow.
I think what helps is that second point doesn't end at the end of the tunnel. It comes out a little bit into the open area. And you have a little bit of extra time to push back in that open area to keep the attackers from hitting third point. And I think that alone, combined with like just that little like area right beforehand, coming into like freaking forward spawn.
I agree. It's also got the flank around. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's like an ongoing flank up the side of the mountain, up the cliff, which is also fun.
And like
it's not as commonly used as I'd like, but it is fun.
Yeah, and the main turn going in has that vantage point for like you could have like a bastion putting down suppressive fire, or just a widow picking up the small fry from down below. Or there's like that flank route going in down below where you can have a can have like a freaking spy come in. It's a really good second point actually.
Yeah, no, I kind of love every area of this map for different reasons. It's all very distinctive.
No, this is a super fun map to play on, and it is a really beautiful map to look at as well.
Yeah, no, I fucking love Shambali. It's probably my favorite escort map. That goes in Primokino. I love Shambali so much.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I just and I also like that like it's not a. It would have been so easy to recycle a bunch of shit from Nepal, but they kind of did. There's actually there's very little asset reuse on this map,
which is again great and definitely goes in this map's favor. Like anything that makes this more distinct from a similar map or variant is just like that's in favor. So
yeah, no, it's fantastic. Good. I love it. Suravasa.
Okay, Suravasa. You wanted to talk about this because I talked about Junkertown.
No,
New Junk City. Yeah, New Junk City.
I like Suravasa. I like Suravasa slightly more. Part of it is that it's a newer, fresher aesthetic, whereas New Junk City is a retread / like second pass like a junker aesthetic.
Yeah.
Which I've always been kind of so-so on the junker aesthetic, if I'm being honest.
Yeah.
Suravasa is a futuristic take on India, which is a region of the world we had not yet seen before this map. And I think they knocked it out of the park. It is very pretty. I like how all five of its points are super distinct from each other. They all feel they all one minor critique is that we've had is that Gardens is beautiful and Gardens is a very unique point, but it is very whoever sets up first there tends to win more often.
Yeah, that's probably the one point where I'd say there's a kind of a flaw in its design, and that is, whoever sets up first kind of just takes it, as long as they have good defense and good sustain.
It's not impossible, but it is difficult once a team sets up.
It is definitely a challenge getting people off that point.
But some of the other points are my favorite points in the game. I love Ruins, both aesthetically and gameplay wise. I love Ruins. I love Temple. Palace is a little barren, but it is fun though. Market is good. Market is maybe a little bit too big, just a tiny bit too big, but it is very distinctive.
Ever so slightly.
It is very distinctive, both gameplay and aesthetically. And I especially like I said before, that the spaces between the points are not so vast that fights don't break out there. I feel like you do constantly kind of run into people on the way to the point, which makes it feel like you're fighting on the whole map rather than the space just kind of existing to facilitate the maps, the points being as far away from each other as they are.
That is fair.
Which enough. I feel on New Junk City is kind of the case.
That is fair. I will say I really like playing on the individual points of New Junk City. Like I think New Junk City has some of the stronger points in Flashpoint right now, like, the three that you talked about. But at the same time, I would say Suravasa is probably the most consistently utilized map in Flashpoint.
Yes.
So that is a fair enough point.
I think it's a better showcase for Flashpoint as a mode, in like how it can differentiate itself gameplay wise.
Fair enough. Now I can agree with that. I can agree with that assessment.
Yeah.
I'd say that pushes it up into Primo Kino. Yeah.
Yeah. Right about there.
Yep.
I like it. Throne of Anubis.
Not Temple. Throne. Different.
Throne of Anubis is...
It's interesting. So...
I don't like it as much as Hanaoka.
Yeah, the big issue I have with Throne of Anubis is really center point and endpoints.
Yeah.
Center point and endpoints have the issue of whoever, like, center point is...
Let me talk about it. Center point to me is too cramped.
Yes.
It's hard to break in and dislodge. Like, you technically have space to work with, but like it's like really nebulous sort of esoteric space.
Yeah, in terms of effective space to work, you're kind of limited unless you have a longer range hit scan or sniper working from like way off to the side, but even then it's really easy to work. It's really easy to fucking flank them.
It's like technically there's space because there's a whole thing under the point and there's the stuff towards the back, and there is a decent amount of cover there, but it doesn't feel like quite enough. Like it's weird and feels very hero specific, and your comp might not necessarily have the right ingredients to do anything with it.
Yeah.
And the doors are just kind of hard to push through. Like I guess technically it has kind of the same flanks as like point C on Hanaoka, but it doesn't feel as open. It just feels kind of claustrophobic.
Yeah.
It's not the worst, but it is claustrophobic feeling.
Yeah.
And then point AE is kind of the opposite, where it's really open.
Yeah, it's really open, and it's honestly extremely difficult to lock it down long enough to, like, if you are trying, like, if you're trying to like get multiple points on A or E, it's really difficult to actually lock down there for an extended period of time.
Which is by design.
By design, yes, but like I feel like it feels worse than it does on Hanaoka. Yeah.
I would kind of agree with that. Although there are some interesting things I like about it, like the fact that the
There are.
first spawn is literally under the point. That's fascinating.
That is true. That is true.
Yeah. Maybe we just need to play it more. I don't know. But it feels like most of the content, the meat of the map, comes on BD, and
Yes.
BD's fine.
Yeah.
BD's fine. There's even some things I really like about it. But yeah. I feel like unlike Hanaoka, where the whole thing kind of flows seamlessly between the 5 points, back and forth, Throne of Anubis is a little chokier and weird about it.
Yeah, I agree. It's a
I might give it time to grow on me, but I think right now I put it at the top of acceptable area.
I agree. It's never a map that
this is kind of the most mid I've felt about a new map in a while.
Yeah, which is extremely rare. Rare.
And again, curve. And again, they're all beautiful, baby.
Yeah. Except you, Temple of Anubis.
Poopy. Volskaya Industries. Definitely at the top of my list for what I want to see a fucking Clash remake of.
Yes, I love I love just the Russian, just like the cold.
Oh yeah, I love the
the
Russian cold industrial aesthetic. It's fantastic. It's like of the facilities maps that used to end with. This is one of my favorites.
Yes.
But again, it's Assault.
This is probably I think this is probably the one that would make for the coolest rework into a Clash map in particular. What?
Cold. Literally, it's cold. Russia.
Yeah. So,
yeah. No, yeah. Like I've had my fun on this, but again, it's Assault.
It's
like,
Assault.
The mode kills it.
Yeah. Again, Assault is 2CP is just such a. Does this not have a? This is only 2CP, right?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. It used to have a deathmatch crop, but it was bad because it was way too fucking big. They did that. It was in my video where I said they literally just lopped off off the attacker spawn area and just made the entire rest of the map which is too big.
Yeah.
I feel like there's definitely a crop of this that could work.
Just
but
not that one.
They just just not that one, and they just gave up.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would say similar to Hanamura, where like it's the better of the Assault options, but ultimately it's still Assault.
Yeah, I agree.
It's iconic. I've played dozens and dozens of hours on Volskaya, but yeah, I can't. It's Assault.
Yep, indeed.
Hope it gets a spiritual successor one day, but for now, you're just Assault. Watchpoint Gibraltar. This one has really grown over time. I love its season 5 rework.
Yeah,
that really cleaned things up.
Yeah, like the biggest issue is that third point used to fucking suck. But it got reworked, and it's a lot better now. And I have a ton of fun playing Watchpoint Gibraltar.
I love the new pathing out of spawn up to high ground. Feels like it's much more clear how to play the map. It's some nice solid changes to it in terms of spacing and pathing have really made this shine to me. Like I actually really like playing on Gibraltar now.
There really is never a dull moment playing on Gibraltar. There's always action happening throughout the entirety of the road, like the road there and like all the flank areas. Always something happening.
Yeah, there's options, but it feels tightly designed around its payload track, but also there's still some space and some options.
Yeah, no, like there is a lot of experimentation you can engage in when trying to deal with a particular engagement. And that's what you really want out of an escort map.
Yes. I'd also say aesthetically that it's a looker, and it's also Overwatch classic stock aesthetic positive. If Ilios is stock Overwatch derivative, stock Overwatch insult, this is stock Overwatch complimentary, which it should be. It's literally like the only actual like Overwatch outpost map.
Yeah, and as that goes, it's really, really nice actually.
Yeah. I would kind of put this with Shambali as like my favorite of the escort maps.
Yeah, and again, like depending on the hero you're playing, like it can really change the experience of how the map flows, and that's a good thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like some of the strongest maps here really are dependent on like what heroes you're playing, what your comp is, because like this
Yeah.
is like there are some maps here where the comps feel super flexible, and this is
Yeah.
one of the best. This is one of the better early examples of that.
Yeah, no, it's pretty okay now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, looking at this here tier list, I'm pretty content with this.
Yeah, and it really does show just how good Overwatch's general map design is, honestly. Because, like,
Yeah.
even the ones where we say sketchy neighborhood, it's mostly just the fact that they're fucking 2 CP maps or some fucking shit, for the most part.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
And, like, even the ones in acceptable area, we like playing on them. They're just, you know, they're
Yeah.
fine. They're good.
Yeah,
Like,
again, grading on a curve.
yeah.
Otherwise, this would be a very boring conversation.
Yeah. Otherwise, like 90% of this map would be in Primo Key. of this video would just be Primo Keynote destination, like the whole screen.
Yeah.
No,
No,
like,
I'm pretty this feels right. This
yes,
feels about right.
yes, absolutely. There is a reason Zeke and I kind of just gravitate towards Overwatch when we're bored, and a lot of that is just how good the general map design is.
Yeah.
It is just fun to play on a lot of these maps. Even if you're honestly, sometimes even if you're having a bad match, just the map experience alone can really save a game.
Sure. Yeah. No. Yeah. This is where things stand now. I'm pretty happy with this layout, these placements. I think when it comes to Overwatch map ranking, again, the bar is so high that like we don't quite have as many nuanced conversations as we do ranking Halo maps, because Halo maps have a wide spectrum
Oh yes,
of
absolutely.
quality.
Yes.
But yeah, it was high time to do this, since I
Yeah.
hadn't done it since like season 3.
Yeah, the main
Yeah.
thing to understand here is that Overwatch's maps are specialized, Halo's maps are more freeform. So
That's true.
there's just more to talk about with Halo maps compared to Overwatch maps,
Yes.
but still.
And we're probably gonna be doing a re-review of 4v4 Halo maps at some point when they add some more, because there's been a lot of changes. Match Composer
Oh yes.
was a big deal.
Yes.
So look forward to that. As far as Overwatch goes, we are not going to be doing this very often just because they add maps so slowly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Honestly,
But it was
don't expect this again for at least another couple of years.
Yeah, honestly. Damn. Wish we had some kind of community map tools. That'd be really cool.
How about that? Yeah.
Yeah. But until then, thanks for hearing us ramble about these maps. Stay tuned for more content to come. Subscribe. Zeke Freak out. Ciao for now.